It's the Bennington Show on a Friday. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I am Ron Bennington. This is Tarantino week, and we go out with Midnight Confessions. I'm very, very surprised.
Well, yeah, we thought we would do like a little something different, you know? I mean, like...
little bubblegum pop, which is kind of a forgotten genre in music.
Yeah, and, you know, like, all the poppy stuff, like, people always look back and, like, treat it like it was little, but that's, like, a really great song.
It's a really great song, and there's people of all generations can sing that song. But I'm always thinking funkier or soul with Tarantino, but he's got an eye for the pop.
He does. He likes the poppy stuff. Like, he really does.
We got a lot going on today. I'm so happy to say this. We're playing the Unmasked with Sal Vulcano, and this was one of my favorite days because I love this kid. I just love him.
This was so much fun. We were all looking forward to it because, honestly, everyone on this team adores Sal so much. Like, from the first time we did, you know, like, obviously we're a fan of him because, you know, he's a big TV star. Right. But the first time we did Comedy 101 with him, I think, like, our entire team were just like, I love Sal.
Sal's great.
I want to be Sal's friend. So yeah, this was a really exciting one.
Here's the other thing I like about Sal, and I had Italian friends like this in Philadelphia. They're really nice guys, but it doesn't mean that they're pushovers. And I always have a feeling in the back of my head that if needed, Sal would throw hands. You know what I mean?
He would. I know he would.
There's those guys. I don't know what it is. They're very nice guys. They're the last guys to fight, but once they start, it seems like they would fight to the death.
They commit.
Yeah.
You know, since we've been doing stuff with Sal, I just want to throw this out there. It's just very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
The ladies love Sal.
Yes.
Like, if you check out, like, on Twitter, anytime he does anything, the amount of response on a YouTube video, anything, the women are gaga for him. And it's his smile and his laugh both get brought up constantly by women.
He's got the smile. He's got the laugh. He's a good-looking guy, but not baby-faced. But here's what women like about him. He looks like he would be a dedicated father. You know what I mean? He looks like he would be a dedicated spouse. I don't know what he's like in his private life, but you know how, like, women love to see a man holding a baby.
Do they?
Sal?
What?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Are you kidding?
Really?
Yes. That is in their DNA. You know what I mean? In their DNA, they like to see the man as a provider and a person who cares about the home. Sal looks like he has a baby in his hands even when he doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yes, I would agree. And absolutely women find that attractive, Chris. Like 100%.
That's weird to me.
That's why I still coach at Chelsea Piers.
You're like, he's so good with kids.
Yeah, why is it working for your dating life?
I don't date, but when I did date, I would always bring up, hey, like, oh, like, what do you do? And I'd be like, I work at Chelsea Piers and, like, I coach kids. And it always goes over really well.
But it looks like you do it for money instead of love. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying is a father isn't doing it for money.
Goddamn mercenary.
You are. It's like, does a woman really want a guy who's a kindergarten teacher?
Ew.
I'm not a kindergarten
I can't
teacher.
take him serious.
By the way, what is the first grade that you think it's okay for a man to teach and still come across as masculine?
Oh, God.
I'm gonna
College
say
professor?
Third grade?
No. I think you could do a senior in high school.
Damn.
I think,
If you do a seventh grader, you look like a goddamn idiot.
yeah, I don't think you want to go lower than middle school for sure.
No, never even middle school.
Like for sure not any elementary. It's just bizarre.
I didn't have a male teacher in elementary school.
I had one in sixth grade.
I had two male teachers.
Yeah.
And I had a male third grade teacher and a fifth grade teacher. And I always hated it. Like, I just was like,
What's not to hate?
I can't relate to this person.
And then also, what was always weird, like another thing, is like the other teachers would come over and tell him, hey, I got somebody going crazy in my class.
Yeah.
So that's what it's like in your class all the time. You were being suppressed completely.
Yeah. And by the way, my fifth grade teacher, who was male, that was like the worst time to have a male teacher because the boys have not gone through the change yet and the girls are. And so the girls are very much in need of a female.
To have some cunny talk.
Yeah, and to have
Like,
to
can
be
I
able
go down to the
like,
bathroom?
Yeah, we don't want
I
to
fucking bled down my leg.
Oh, Christ.
And then everyone was just like emotional all the time, and then like angry, and from angry to crying, and then needing to change our tampon. We didn't want to fucking tell this guy this
Can I
shit.
tell
We
you this? When I
hated
was
it.
in 6th grade, we had a male teacher. 5 kids in my class committed suicide that year.
Oh, no.
3 of them, plastic bags over their head. Now, this is the odd part of it. They had filled them up with water.
Oh my god! I've never even heard of that as a suicide.
Kids are talented.
It was big then. I mean, it was like Pop Rocks, so that was a big way to do it, you know?
I had a male teacher 6th and 7th and 8th grade.
And you used to make out with them every day.
I never
Did
made
you
out
like
with
it?
him.
Did you get hard?
Then you're homophobic.
I never made out with him, but I don't want to say which year it was, but one kid claimed he saw his penis in the bathroom one year, and everybody started calling him Mr. Chode behind his back.
Because it was short and thick.
Fat. It's a fat
Short and
dick.
thick.
Joan.
And they would say, Mr. Chode over there, and I feel really bad because he was a good dude.
There's
You don't know
nothing
that.
wrong with a chode. It's just another fucking penis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know why people take credit for big, thick, short, thin, whatever. It's your penis.
Yeah, don't size shame.
Yeah. Do you ever see a person go on? Oh, I'm a good person because look at the size of my ears. It's fucking ridiculous. That's what you're fucking working with. Get in there and work with it.
Yeah.
This is what's keeping you from fucking really going for it because that ex-girlfriend of yours told you that you were fucking lacking something.
That's not what happened with me. But
Sounds
But that's what she told that
No.
couple that she's banging.
Stop
She
bringing
goes,
it
"It's
up."
good." She says it's good to be able to come.
she came many times.
Oh God!
She
What a
lied.
thing to yell out.
She's lying to you.
So embarrassing.
Chris, you're a little hungover today, right?
A little bit hungover, yeah, from
Yeah.
the moonshine and beers from the day previous.
Well, that show ended yesterday, 24 hours, 21 hours ago.
Yeah.
No sense in you to keep doing it late into the night. So you're a bad person. That's what I'm saying.
I like once I start, I gotta keep it going.
That's a problem.
That's called alcoholism.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You just described what is known as alcoholism
That's what it's
in this
called?
business. Yes.
have a-
You know it.
I just thought I was having a good time.
No, that's not having a
You know the
good time.
difference, and you're just trying to annoy.
I'm not trying. I don't want to annoy anyone.
Then why are you talking under us? The whole time I'm talking to fucking Vito, I just hear chode, faggot.
I've never
I'm like,
said that.
don't fucking just.
Yeah, he's.
But
in a
I
weird
know that he's
state.
hungover and he's going to do that.
And he said he didn't get enough sleep.
I don't
there's
sleep anymore.
that. You've got to
And
get.
yes, you do use the F word. You do it with Vito all the time. Am I right, Vito?
He calls me that all the time.
Off the air. But
Yes.
not on the
Either
air.
way,
Oh.
either way, it's a bad thing.
It's still bad off the
It's a
air.
problem.
100%.
Dude, you know, and you're just doing that. You're like the fucking radio shark now.
I'm not.
You're
like a
just
shark.
no. You're exactly like the shark.
So
You're
much.
saying things like you're asking a question that you know the answer to, but you're acting like you don't, and that's what the shark does.
I
Exactly.
don't drop smoke bombs.
I've
in
never
live
really
gigs.
thought about the connection between the two of you,
You
but
know
you
that-
guys are really similar.
Chris and I have never had a conversation that would be normal, like two men talking. It's always we're being silly about something because he can't be a normal person.
Right.
Being silly is fun.
Well, like Chris, make
For
an attempt.
children?
Chris,
You're a fucking grown man.
I'm a dude. Yeah.
Chris, make an attempt to have a real
Okay.
one-on-one conversation with Ron Bennington. Me and Vito will be totally silent, and just be a person, be a man.
Well, I had a question for everyone, but I'll just ask you, Ron. All right. So this is my question. Would you rather die alone or with a large group of people?
What's the difference? You're dying.
I feel like.
By the way, this is something a child would. This is like I'm a
It's a
weekend
two-adult-
dad and I'm with a 3.
Yeah, I just
3-year-old. You
This-
know
this
that
isn't a
regular
regular
guys
man's
don't talk.
conversation.
No, why would you say that?
I think it's an interesting question.
That
How his day is or something.
Oh, how's your day? How's
well,
your
I
day?
got to ask the weirdo question by a weirdo. So that's how my night day is.
so not good.
However you die,
Yeah.
you're dying alone.
I understand that the experience is you're alone, but I feel like it would be interesting to die with a large group of people to see how everyone else reacts to dying.
That's the way a terrorist talks.
I'm not a terrorist. I'm just a guy.
So you want to be there for a pandemic. You want to see people bleeding out all around you while you lay there.
Or maybe
That's
a shipwreck, or like a ship, like a capsizing
Oh my
of a
God.
ship.
What fucking
I just
year is this
realized
that we're capsizing?
what you're asking, because I assumed what he was asking was, would you
I would
be
feel
alone,
closer, yeah.
or like, would you like to be like surrounded by friends and family?
No,
but
no,
you're
no.
saying die with a bunch of people.
Strangers, yeah. These are strangers.
No.
This is what
That's
terrorists
terrible.
say. Terrorists are like, oh, what would you rather die with, a fucking dynamite vest or
Chris.
fucking flying yourself into somebody?
Yeah, who would
It's
choose
sick. What
Yeah.
you're saying is
mass
sick.
death?
that bad?
Who would choose
Yeah.
wanting other people to die along with you?
No, this isn't a choice like, more people can die with me. It's just a choice of whether or not you would want to be with other people. It's you're
No,
still
you're
dying.
not. You're saying it'd be interesting to see them die. And
To
that's
see
what
how they react to the
this is what
possibility
a
of death.
fucking psychopath says.
Is it?
Yes, one of the main reasons that they kill people is to see their expression change.
Oh, shit.
And that is you, dude.
Because I feel personally, I feel like
Yes, we know.
I'd be very detached from the situation.
You're detached from
Yes.
every situation.
Which is also
So
a thing for
that's a
psychopath.
psychopath.
Yeah, psychopaths
That
do
it
that.
means you lack empathy.
Oh, I definitely lack empathy. Yeah.
Yes,
That's
the
not good.
sociopath into psychopath.
Okay.
And for me to say I've known you for 8 years, but I've never had a normal conversation with you.
I feel like we've talked about Better Call Saul.
Do you think
We've
that
talked
you
about The
like
Wire.
have
Oh my
had
That's water cooler talk.
have had seen
What's
a
that?
normal range of in what is it? How many years you guys known each other?
8 years, 9 years,
10.
There was a thing in the
12
paper.
years, 15 years.
There was a thing in the paper about he was reading and he's laughing, and it was about a fucking rape.
What?
He's laughing
Chris,
now.
That's not funny.
Why
not
is a
cool.
rape funny to you,
That's
psychopath?
really fucked up, dude.
It was just
By the way, we were having a nice conversation
It was going
about our
so
friend
well.
Sal, how much we like him,
Love him.
how much we care. You don't love him.
Yes,
You're
I do.
incapable of love. You saw us talking about it, so you're like, let me throw myself in it. But again, why I'm talking, he has to go underneath. Love him. You guys understand that when one person's talking, you just let them talk, and then it's your turn to talk. But he goes underneath. Love him. He's the best. Because he thinks that the big dog is going to fucking look over and give him a thumbs up. I'm not, because I know you're a psychopath that lacks empathy. But what I'm saying is we were having a nice conversation.
We were.
And then he starts this mass fucking
It's really
murder.
sick.
He chose
No.
Jonestown over one-on-one death.
It's really
not
weird.
even one-on-one, just
Vito,
by yourself.
You fuck, yes, that's what he means by one-on-one.
Doesn't make any sense.
It does. We all understood except for you.
No,
Look, here's the
you
thing.
were wrong.
He loves the idea of a Jonestown. He'd love to see people bleed out in front of him and screaming and all that. Why? Psychopathic.
Obviously.
He doesn't feel.
Now, what I want to say is that in 10 years that you've known Chris, do you think that you
15.
have? It isn't.
Again, that's
Just
talking
stop.
I was just
Classic Chris Stanley.
He's really annoying.
I know he is.
I mean, like,
he's
I
terrible
love the
today.
dude, but he's annoying, Ron.
No.
We got to do something.
You don't have to
about
lie
this.
and say you love him. Leave the lying up to him.
I'm on your guys' side.
Yes, I'll tell you what, Peter. I'll tell you, this will be one of those three where one day we'll go, you know what, we could all kill him and then we wouldn't have to hear him anymore.
I feel I'm getting ganged
So
up
what were
on
you
here.
saying?
In 10 years,
Yeah.
have you ever seen? Do you think that you have seen a normal range of human emotion? In 10 years, you know someone, you get to see them happy, sad, angry, concerned. All these. Do you think that
92% of the time he's angry. And I'm
Yes.
not making up
No,
that.
that's 100% true.
I'm sorry, you're talking under me? Go ahead.
That's true.
Yes, that's because I said it. I know it to be true. 92% of the time he's furious. 8% of the time he's laughing at somebody else's bad fucking problem. A friend of mine, I was telling him that I might not make it in. A friend of mine, very good friend of mine, had a baby. The baby was touch and go. It was very sick. I catch him laughing about it. And I go, what are you fucking laughing about, Chris? And he goes, it's not you, it's the baby. I go, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that you're laughing at me. You're laughing
I'm
at a baby.
so shocked
Now,
by this. I'm so shocked by this.
Thank God that the baby made it. But I actually went and told the parents that, and they're no longer friends with him.
Now it's just supposed to be between me and you, and I didn't.
Why
want
would you say that? I don't keep fucking secrets, Chris.
Why are you bringing
I'm
him
not
on?
a fucking secret keeper. That's what psychopaths do.
I just thought
I'm
we had.
proud to tell
I
that
thought
story.
we would have a laugh together. I realized I was
He's
like
painted that.
laughing.
Can we change the subject
He's
to
bringing
something?
you in on that.
No, look, no one would accuse me of that because of what he's saying.
No.
He's a he talked under me. He's a born liar. His fucking first sentence was, "I swear, Mom, it wasn't me." When she fucking looks down, sees a dead fucking cat, and her baby toddler son with a fucking shiv that he had made, which was a toothbrush with a razor tied around it.
Yeah,
He had scribbled cat on like in the back of his mind. He was like, "This is for." I'm sorry, talk under. What was it?
It was me, Mom.
It wasn't me, Mom. It was him.
That's why I ran this campaign against him yesterday.
No, you won that campaign, but that's, seriously, it's like fucking beating a fucking bag head in an attractive beauty contest. It's not going to happen. Let's change the topic to something that isn't so psychopathic. Vito, what do you want to talk about? Because we got a lot of stuff coming up today.
So I was out last weekend, and the amount of dude bros I saw that were out wearing nice, bright pink and purple outfits, wearing fancy hats to go watch the Kentucky Derby.
The men are doing this?
The men were out wearing fedoras, like white fedoras, and wearing suspenders.
Not only that, but I saw some men wearing like the crazy women's hats at the Derby.
It was I cannot believe the cosplay that has went over to just guys going to a bar in Manhattan.
Cosplay is constant now. And let's call it what it is. It isn't cosplay. It's fucking Halloween. It's children. The adult children pretending they're something else.
I don't really understand why they have to take over they have to take over everything.
What was the day before the Derby?
Oh, it was Cinco de Mayo.
And what did they do that day?
Yeah. They were out there in sombreros.
Wearing ponchos and sombreros, saying La Cerveza, por favor.
Dude, there was a couple of guys from Boston at the stand. By the way, I'm going to be at the stand tonight and tomorrow night. But there was some guys, and it was Pete Lee's big night. And Judah Freelander, and they'd started kind of rowdy, but they were just yelling out nonsense and stuff. And I'm like, guys, let's go. I'm going to take you out. And the one guy wouldn't leave. And I'm like, dude, I don't want the cops to get, I shouldn't even do this, but there's women running it. I go, I don't want the cops to get called because it'll take you fucking 2 days to be let out here. And he was like this, fuck New York cops. And fuck you. And I lean back and I go, I'm going to punch this fucking drunk in the face.
Holy
At my age, I'm ready because he can't even move. He's so annihilated. And I was just going to just start and fucking beat him until he died. That's how quick I am to the psychopathic Chris Stanley thing. But again, why are you're a grown man. You're in your fucking 40s and you're going to get annihilated because it's May the 5th. No other reason.
Now, here's something else that really bothers me. I hear a lot of people walking around and they were going, oh, it's like Cinco de Drinko, am I right, guys? Why don't they call it Drinko de Mayo? Like, you've taken something that, there's a clear pun here, and then you just made it even more stupid.
Well,
it's Drinko de Mayo.
He used the two words, dude, bro. But I'm going to tell you something else, and I want to guarantee that this is fact. This cosplay that we're dealing with now is going to lead to blackface. It's going to happen.
You should watch Dear White People.
I watched the first episode of Dear White People just the other night.
You liked it?
I enjoyed the first episode, and my boyfriend and I had to discuss afterwards, do we continue? It was good, but there's just so much stuff. There's so much stuff that I'm not sure this is the show that I need to go full force and watch all of them. I enjoyed it.
The show's good. It's better than I saw the movie a few years ago. This is way better than the movie, and I liked it a lot.
I just don't know if I want to be talked down to all the time.
Yeah, but the point is that there is a blackface party that does happen on campus, which is kind of like the jump off point for the premise.
Out of everybody here, Jen, who do you think would be most likely to be in blackface one day?
I think Vito.
Yeah, thank you.
What?
Italian.
Vito? That is fucked up.
Wait, why me of everybody here? You have Chris Stanley, the racist.
I'm not a racist.
Yes, you are.
He just called you the racist.
I don't mean it in a bad way, just more of like,
Fun way.
fun way.
Oh,
So
because
you think
like,
blackface is fun?
No, I do not think that is fun.
do you think that I'm gonna be hanging out with my black friends one day and I'm just gonna think I'm okay to do that? Is that what you think?
You know what? Why do you got to try to get cred by us by saying black friends?
He's always bringing that up.
Every time.
Or
No,
my
your
friends.
friends are black.
Under me.
My
That
friend.
drives me nuts. Now, here's the, just, speak when it's your turn.
Gotcha.
But when you speak under, I know that you're just trying to be agreeable to me, and it's fucking pussy.
I'm not agreeable.
See what he's
That's
doing.
him agreeing with you.
Agreeing. I don't know how much more I can take. I really don't. I've already told Don.
But what'd you tell him?
That's something I'm not telling you. You'll have to find out through HR.
Oh shit.
That's the best course of action.
They
They'll
don't like
talk
me.
to you about.
Oh, I got to tell you, because you're saying you're watching too many shows.
Yeah.
And I'll be watching the third one Sunday night. I can't say that I'm totally committed to this. American Gods. I've seen the first two. And I'll tell you why. Fantasy is not easy for me to connect to, but I can connect to surreal almost immediately. But fantasy drives me a little nuts.
Do you think it's a show I'd be into?
I don't know. I'll just tell you this much. It's the old gods up against the new gods, technology and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I like the premise.
Yeah, the premise is there. It's written. It was like an illustrated novel that I did not read, but I'm going to give it one more. And so far, not my favorite season of Fargo.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it so far, but I feel too early to make a full call on how
Let's wait till next week then.
Yeah.
At a certain point, we're going to have to pull the plug or pull the trigger.
Oh my god, no.
I know you're on Silicon Valley. How do you like this season so far?
It's the same as every other season.
I'm liking this season though. I like the
It's fun, but I have fun every year.
Gavin and Richard.
Yeah. But it's the same as we always say.
But yeah.
Something's going to happen. Something doesn't happen. Something's going to happen.
The app's
something-
back on.
Do Gavin and Richard break up this week?
Yeah. You know they will. Everything that you think. What are you watching, Jen? Anything we should be into?
I was watching Scandal, but that's being canceled.
It is being
It
canceled.
is being canceled.
No.
It's not canceled. They're ending it next. When you get like a full season in advance, it's not a cancellation.
The,
Still
They
a
said
cancel, do you
cancel.
think?
No, if they say this year before we're going to end it after 7 seasons, I don't think that's a cancel. I think
I
that's
They said
believe it
next
is.
season's the last
when
season.
it's not you deciding, when it's the network, you're canceled.
But did the network decide or did
They
the,
said it was canceled. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
the
was on
network made
yeah.
the decision, I think.
Yeah.
But, and is that a Shonda show?
Yeah.
They're not coming after any Shonda show. She runs Thursday nights there.
You're just being told that they are.
It's over, dude.
Yeah.
Look, if her show,
He's talking under me.
No, that was
if the chase could last this long, 2
Vinny
seasons.
Chase. Let me just tell you this. There's a list up on the iBang of canceled shows. I don't think I heard of one of them. I don't know what. There's so many shows out there right now.
It's hard to get attached.
And yet I do.
Me
You know what I mean? Like I'm attached to Better Call Saul like there's no tomorrow. It's
But
my
that's not
favorite
getting
show.
Canceled.
And if
Huh?
That's not getting canceled.
and nothing feels like worse than that, because then like it takes a lot to get hooked into a show. Then you get hooked. Even if you love it, you're like, I kind of like it, but I just want to. And then you get the cancellation news.
I don't. The last time that happened to me was that Rob Lowe show.
Oh,
I'm
Grindr.
like, yeah, I felt like the Grinder's funny.
I loved Grindr.
Yeah, and there just wasn't enough people that agreed with us.
This season, Making History, I really like, and I heard that's going to get canceled.
It's got to get canceled.
I like it doesn't do bad critically, but apparently there's no reviews in for it. And like it's a funny time travel show, but
I
every
think
time
it's too
travel
silly.
show.
I need it to be a little less silly.
I like the gun thing.
I know you do. I know you do. You love the gun thing.
No, it was-
But so that's going to be going for you. And plus, he, got popped with fucking coke and weed.
he had a
Like
rough
it's
year.
probably better not to. If you're on the bubble, you don't want the word. No one gets mad about weed, but coke, it's still like not to me. I'm very accepting of people who do coke.
Well, Blackish is actually getting a spinoff.
Of what?
So the daughter is going to go to college.
Oh, what is this? Different world?
Literally, the creator said she totally appreciates that it's their different world where she's not going to an all-black college, but she's going to be in
Is
the
it still
black
Hillman?
dorm. It's not Hillman, but she's going to be in the black dorm in this
It's
new
smart
college.
not to make it all black.
Yeah,
That way you're interacting with some white people.
Exactly. I'm excited. I really like Blackish. And I loved Hillman. I wanted to go to Hillman when I was growing up.
Who wouldn't want to go?
That was my dream college.
And fucking Sinbad. Sinbad was the teacher at Hillman, though, right?
Yeah, Sinbad was a teacher.
But the cool teacher.
The hip teacher.
Yeah.
And then you had Whitney, the privileged girl.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You had Dwayne.
I never watched.
I love Different World.
He loves if he's watching a show, it means he loves it.
Oh, yeah.
Like he has an appreciation for TV like no one else I've ever seen.
Now he got me into the terrible Riverdale, and I'm watching every eepisode, and I'm not having fun. But I'll continue to watch it.
I didn't even know it started. I remember reading about it, but I didn't know it went on TV.
It's out there.
River Dorks.
Couple of river dorks over here.
What channel's that on?
CW.
I don't even know how to find it. I don't even know how to find it.
Teen drama
I wish you
channel.
hadn't
I
asked.
thought that's country western.
Do you remember the old WB?
Yeah.
We took over the WB.
C-dubs.
That's like a human. What's it? Gail.
Why are you saying wait?
Me
Yeah.
and Gail took over WB and UPN with CW.
I don't want to be known as the C-dubs over here.
We got somebody that we're going to be talking to in just a couple moments, and that's our friend Jesse David Fox. He is a writer for Vulture, not AV Club, Vulture. And one of the best comedy writers out there. And he's got Vulture Fest coming up, and he's got this this great podcast breaking down jokes. It's called
Good One, a podcast about jokes.
Good one, yeah.
and a lot of great people have been on there, but he's going to be doing it with Bill Burr.
Nice.
This weekend. So Bill's one of the funniest people on the planet. So that's a great get for him and a great get for Vulture Fest. Sal Vulcano a little later on. Come see me at the Stand this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll break right back. Bennington.
Hashtag Bennington. Don't fight it. Just ride the snake.
Chris, bring us back.
I will. Welcome back to Bennington. Jesse David Fox is in studio. Jesse David Fox from Vulture.com. The Vulture Festival is happening Saturday, May 20th and Sunday, May 21st. And Jesse will be recording a live episode of his podcast, A Good One, with guest Bill Burr.
Ooh, nice get.
Hey, thanks.
On Sunday,
Nice get.
I appreciate it.
on Sunday, May 21st at 6:30 p.m. at Milk Studios in New York City. Go to vulturefestival.com for tickets and more information. On Twitter, it's at Jesse David Fox.
Last year was a big success, right?
Yes.
When you did Vulture Fest.
Yeah, last year was huge, and then because of that hugeness, this year feels like very big. Like Aziz is also going to be there.
Yeah.
Him, Sarah Jessica Parker. These are like very famous people.
Yeah. What is the show Sarah does? You run the set one day. Gail.
Divorce.
Divorce, yeah.
I like Divorce a lot.
And I heard they're going through a little change, though. With
They're having a they're considering a divorce.
well, they
separate.
divorced a bunch of the writers,
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
somebody who used to go, like, I think they're trying to turn it into Sex in the City. I go, I know. I know we're all supposed to hate the women, but let's just see how it turns out.
It's not her fault.
Yes. I don't think it was her idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty funny show, though. I feel uncomfortable by it.
Yeah.
So that's the new comedy, right? I
Yeah,
feel
just being uncomfortable by it
Creep
for half an hour.
comedy.
Yeah.
I do want, and I don't know. I had heard there's certain sort of shift in direction, but I don't know if it's to whatever a Sex and the City sensibility is. I mean, I really like the writers that are on the previous staff.
Me
but,
too. I think
Yeah.
they're great.
But maybe they're just like, oh, maybe we want to be a little bit more a lighter side of Divorce.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, divorce. People talk about horror, and that's real horror. You know what I mean? Like everything. And Gail and I were just talking about this because with Trump not staying in the city again, he's coming back, and his wife not moving down there. We're like, if this was the first president who got a divorce, it would be amazing TV.
It's so good. A divorce in
Do you see that she
office?
faved a tweet that seemingly
yes.
that was like about how the only walls between him and his wife or something, and she faved that tweet? You're like, either she read it incorrectly or like this is her sign.
Well, whatever you think about them, they're great TV. I mean, they are I can't turn off that show.
Yeah.
I can't turn off the President show.
It's like the Kardashians in many ways.
Yes, except for there's no nukes on the Kardashians whatsoever.
I think he would think that is the highest compliment of his presidency.
Yeah, he would. He really does like the idea that, people are talking about me. That's his Stalin thing. Stalin would bug people, and if he found out they weren't talking about Stalin, he would have them arrested. Then I go, I get it, because a lot of times I'll be listening to a radio show, and if they bring my name up, you have that initial thing of, oh, why are they doing this? But then as they move on, you're like, really? That's all you're giving that?
That's all you got, yeah.
Seems like, that thing that you're talking about could have really went on for a while.
Or there.
Yeah. Are you enjoying a good one?
Yes, and it's just good one. No, just so in case people are searching by the letter A.
Got one.
I know. I'm sorry. It's just I am enjoying it. It's we started without knowing how it was going to go, and the comedians have been really receptive of the premise of talking really kind of inside about how they write and think about jokes. And we've had really good guests. Weird Al did it. Tig Notaro did it.
I was talking to Horatio.
Oh, yeah. He did it.
And he went right back into the story that he told you. I'm like, okay, still top of mind with you, right? Out of all the things that you've ever done, this is the only one that's on your mind right now.
That's so funny. It's probably because he hasn't thought about that sketch in forever, and then he's like, well, now I have this story about how this thing came about, and I've been thinking about it. He was so sweet. It was as I said in the intro of that episode, watching him watch that sketch has been the highlight of doing the podcast. Because he basically a lot of cast members do different amounts, but they filmed it, he watched it the next day just to see how it responded, and then never since. So 13 years later, he's watching it, he looks different enough that he can kind of detach himself. But this is 100% an Horatio Sanz sketch, so to him, it's the funniest thing. He's crying, laughing at himself, which is maybe gauche, but to me, it was so endearing because he's it's such a silly sketch, and there's a part where Queen Latifah's character who's pregnant farts for like a good 10 seconds, and he's just because he's oh, that's a version of me that would have wrote that stupid thing and got it on air. But even that one, I thought, oh, he just picked a silly sketch. It's no, to me, that's a sketch about changing neighborhoods and how there's a clash between cultures. And I don't think anyone would have seen that and thought that way about how dark that sketch is at the beginning, which is about a pharmacist who is paralyzed because he was shot in the spine.
Yeah.
But that's a thing that I learned by doing kind of different types of people have different types of conversation. And then, so Bill is a different type of comedian than I've spoken to yet. And obviously, I mean, he's huge and he's really interesting. And I've listened to your interview with him, and I was like, oh, he really can talk about this stuff. I think it'd be cool to see his reason. And he picked, we're gonna be talking. We're gonna split into. We're gonna talk about the show. It's a new season for F is for Family. We're gonna talk about that for the first half, and then he picked a joke from his new special that I think he picked just to see if it would annoy me.
Yes. Yes.
Because the full joke, he kind of softens it a little bit, but he from him very deliberately picked the time codes in which he wanted to do it to maximize how maybe bothersome it might be for some members of the audience.
Well, that's the thing about Burr is he is a contrarian. So if you even say to him, you're a great comedian, well, not rap, really? There's nothing we can ever agree on? So anytime that I've interviewed him, I've just laughed the whole time.
So funny.
Because you see him going, I really don't want to be here. God, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But even with the audience, Burr, if you watch him do this, he starts by digging a hole, climbing into it, and then convincing everybody in the audience why this was the right thing to do, and it's very funny.
Yeah, and that's what the case with this one, but he only picks the part where he has the hole he put himself into. So then I, as the host of the thing, have to be like, well, all right, so you put us in this hole. Right. Now you have to explain why. Yeah. Because I don't want to be blamed.
Yes.
No, and I get it, and I respect what he's trying to do. It's just a funny thing to put in, to remove all context and be like, here's a joke where he's, specifically complaining about fat women or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I know what he's trying to do. It's just it's funny that you can tell that he's like, what would be the most uncomfortable for this nerd who's about to interview me?
It is what he wants to do in life, though. He wants to take that thing. Here's something that you hold near and dear to you.
Yeah.
Let me take a piss on it, and then allow you to see why that was a great idea.
Why it was a great piss for you to watch.
But if you were to say to Burr, "Oh, I agree, fat women," but no, he's on the other side of
he's
that.
like, well, actually.
Immediately.
He's like, how dare you? That's terrible to say. Yeah, no, he likes to just go whatever the opposite you're going to be saying.
Yes.
If I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's a good observation. Like, no, it's a dumb observation. It's stupid of me.
Yeah.
And so it'll be really interesting to see how we kind of get out of it.
Yes. Yeah, and you will. That's the beauty of it. You know that you will with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what he professionally does. But it's always funny. I don't want to even bring up the comic's name, but it's a well-known comic who has this special coming out, and I'm standing out on the sidewalk with him in front of the stand, and he's like, when do you think this PC thing will ever roll back? And I'm going to go, things don't roll back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen
It's
that
not
way.
how progress works.
Yeah. Literally. And he's going, I said that to him. I go, when progress happens, we don't go, you know what? We've tried it a while, but we don't want blacks at the diner. You know what I mean? It's just
We figured it out.
We tried it.
It's really interesting. I was talking to the next episode of Moshe Kasher's the guest.
Yeah.
And he picked a joke from his earlier special, and there's a part of it that I'm like, I just brought up that part. And he goes, I wouldn't say that now. And he's like, I don't even know. And he goes, I don't even know if I believe it or don't believe it. It's just a matter of an audience wouldn't laugh at it. And who am I to tell them, right, they're wrong, right? It's like there's that weird thing of everyone's like, well, the audience is always right, except for this one thing, and they're like, the audience is the audience.
Yeah.
And I always say that, like, if you're ever offended by a joke that's on a special, you have to consider that hundreds of audiences have already laughed at that version of that joke before it got to you. So that means thousands of people probably already agreed to that. Now, in 10 years, audiences probably have shifted, and the audiences shift. I think comedians have to just accept that that's not going to change. If an audience isn't going to laugh at a thing, you're not going to be able to yell at them enough to
Yes.
because it's too once it happens, wherever there's that hiccup where your brain it's like, that bothers me, or that's weird, or just they back up at all. You can't undo that, especially on a mass scale.
Yes.
One audience at a time, whatever. Oh, this audience is looser, but over the course of a tour, over the course of a career, it's going to be hard.
But that's interesting that you said that, because I don't know why it never occurred to me, that exact way of thinking of it, that if you have that thing where you either don't find something funny in a special or you find something offensive, this has been worked out, and no comic is like, this has died every time, and it's gonna make the special. Whereas in a movie, they're like, we find this funny. It seemed funny went on set, and we're thinking about it. We don't know how audiences are going to react.
Well, I'll give you this almost different example, though. When I did the Unmasked with Dice, I went back and watched a lot of his 80s and 90s stuff. And I remember at the time thinking that his audience were the worst people.
There's a clip I watch of his audience, and it is, people are jumping into it. It's like a church experience.
Yes.
It's unreal.
And after having that distance, I was like, I see what they're doing. They're just saying what's the dirtiest, grossest thing we can say, and we're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it was much more light and even childish than I thought at the time. At the time, I was like, what is this? Some kind of a new skinhead thing that's popping up?
Yeah.
But when you meet Dice, he will tell you, I mean, he's a very sweet, almost overly sensitive guy. And he'll say, like, I just want to think of the dirtiest, most disgusting things. I don't know why. I think that's funny. And that reminded me of, like, the old Hustler cartoons that they would, those comic strips. Just think of something horrific, and that would be the joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Isn't this a horrific thought?
And it's so detached from reality, it's hard.
Yes.
I mean, and he was so clearly in a character. He had a character's name. What is interesting is that a lot of comedians do a similar type of thing, but they don't use any way to know they're doing a character.
Right.
And if you don't know that context, I think, like, Sarah Silverman was probably the last big example where she was so far into a character, and she was saying the most offensive thing possible, and so clearly in an ironic way, and the joke is on racism, but clearly in an ironic way, and the joke is on racism. But if you don't know that context, you're just seeing a person who's like in blackface for whatever reason, not knowing that there's a full episode around it. And it's possible that that was wrong for her to do, but like, comedians now make it harder for them to explain to people what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Or like, at least if you're in a character, you're like, oh, well, that's that guy.
Yeah.
And you say, like, everything he says is wrong and everything I believe is different. When you're not in a character, it's harder to be like, everything that guy says with my name and my face and my career is wrong. Except and it's harder, and I think it makes it so good comedians can get laughs at it. But once it gets out of that first bubble where it's their fans and it's just released to a general audience, it's hard to know how people react.
Amy Schumer went through this in the early thing where she was playing the kind of white girl that didn't think enough, that had, too many advantages. So, and then, and it was very, very funny. And then she gets her show, and then people are going back looking at her earlier stuff. She's like, I was joking, about that. But like you said, it is very difficult. It's like going back and look at your old haircuts. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, I don't know. Everybody was.
It made sense at the time.
I wasn't weird then.
Yes, I have to tell people. Bono had the same haircut I had, so you know what I mean. He was the biggest star in the world at the time. But that. And this time that we live in, there is a tightrope for everybody, especially because you are working for corporations now, and they don't ever want trouble. You know what I mean? They want you to be great and funny, but then they're like, hey, this other thing you said wasn't. I mean, where were you the whole time we were putting that together? You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's ultimately like, it's not, they're just lazy, not even lazy. It's like they have a lot of things doing, and if you're too much trouble, to be like, it's not worth it. I think anytime a network backs a person or not, it's ultimately if they feel like it's enough
money,
and trouble to worth the money that they're getting for it.
It was shocking for me to see them finally get rid of O'Reilly. You know what I mean? O'Reilly has made more money for cable news than any human being has ever made. And he was always safe from that shit until he wasn't, till the day that he wasn't.
And then immediately he was gone. And that was also partly that there's a groundswell, there's a ball rolling. It also, though this is not my expertise, New York Magazine, which I worked, they did a lot of this reporting, and it seemed like the other companies owned by them were annoyed that Fox News was treated differently.
Yes.
That, like, we have policies that are corporation-wide, and then this one place, and the most public part of the company is bringing the rest of us down. So it's not even like he wasn't making enough money for Fox News. They felt that image was hurting their image, where they make all of their money.
Yes.
And though Fox News was a very successful thing, this is a giant multinational company that they just like, oh, well, we can't lose business in Australia because of this one guy.
Right. And that's what happened to Glenn Beck. He had the numbers.
Yeah.
But everybody stopped buying ads there. So they don't want to just sit around and sell dick pills. You know what I mean? At a certain point, they're like, you take your numbers and go on and leave. Because all they care about, if you can figure that out about corporations, all they really care about is money.
Yeah.
Yes. And they're like sharks. Like, they're just there to survive. There's like, it has like a one-track mind.
Yes.
It's only there for survival. It does not have allegiance to, but we've been with this guy for so many years.
Yeah. That's
like,
why
if you've messed with the money, then it's done.
That's why Trump was like a good campaigner, because he really likes to win numbers and think about the numbers. And that's why he brings it up now, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? You're the president now. He goes, oh, but remember the election? You know, and you're like, no.
We can never forget it.
Yes. Sometimes I wake up at 3 a.m. Going, is this real?
A different but similar, so I actually, like, literally right before this, I broke a story about how CISO seems to be closing down, or in the last days of it. Though it hasn't been decided, it seems like the guy who's running it is leaving, and then as a result, and it seems like it's not that CISO was doing a bad job. It's just that it took a lot of effort, and NBC's doing a great job other places, and they're like, it's probably not worth doing it. Like NBC it's killing it. They're figuring different things in the digital space, And they're like, CISO we really had to work hard, and we'd have to do a lot of different things. And we could probably just kind of phase it out.
I think the problem with CISO immediately was the paywall, that you should wait a long time before you figure out how to make money with it. You know, Facebook, that was right in the movie. Like, let's just get this big and we'll figure out where the money comes in. But right away with CISO, it was like $4.95, or it's just an extra thing that you have to sign up for.
It's almost like signing up is the hard part. I think, I think they learned from, like, Hulu was free for so long, and now they have to fight constantly to get people to actually pay for it. And maybe they are now, but where I think they're like, I think a lot of this stuff is experimenting, right? So they're like, okay, let's see what happens if we start where there is a paywall, because before everyone wasn't. So then, and the thing that is hard, which I, ended up putting in the piece, is when you're a startup, you can do different things, right? But they are a startup operating inside NBC Universal, which is like one of the biggest media companies in the world, who are like, when we said experimenting, we meant one experiment, and if it didn't work immediately, you're like, that's not really experimenting. That is just like, it's the opposite of that. It's just basically be like a guaranteed win. You're like, well, there's no, if it was a guaranteed success, this wouldn't be business. This would be like free money, and that does not exist.
Well, I went over and did Big J's thing, What's Your Fucking Deal? And everything about that was like a network show, except for the rollout. You know what I mean? Like, they had trailers. Like, this is at a comedy club. I don't know if we need the trailers here. I don't know if you need smoke. And, everything looked like, oh, my God, this is a big show.
Incredible. Like, the lighting and, like, the smoke. And it was pretty phenomenal.
So that part of it was, I don't know if you needed to put that money into that. You could have done this cheaper.
Well, I think the thing that one of the people that I was speaking to about this piece told me was, like, they own other networks that they could have promoted their shows on.
Right.
Like, they have NBC comedies that are on CISO that you can be like, hey, watch the back catalog of this show on CISO, or these original. They have the space, but it seemed that for whatever reason they didn't particularly want it to work, or they were happy if it worked in a miraculous way, because, like, why not? But if anything, it was just kind of like, oh, it's a thing we kind of we've gotten this far, so we'll try it out. And a lot of good shows, a lot of really good stand-up specials were released on it. A lot of people got really good opportunities from it. And it was just, it seemed like NBC was like, it seemed like right after they decided they wanted to do it, they're like, why did we decide to do this?
Why did we do this at all? So what's going to happen to Nick DiPaolo's special that's sitting on there that they just bought?
Yeah, that's unclear, and it seems like they literally haven't decided yet. Not like they don't know yet, because for months they have been. This transition has happened over the last couple of weeks, and literally just people haven't decided what they're going to do. And it's hard for me even to speculate. I mean, a lot of those specials were filmed for comedy dynamics, right? So right. So I imagine CISO has a license, and then once that license expires, either because CISO doesn't exist or because it expires, then they can try to place it somewhere else. Who knows at the nature of what the rate that will be placing it somewhere else, but I imagine then it'll just go back to them. The sort of original programming, I have no idea, right? Take My Wife, Big J Show, Bajillion Dollar Properties, Harmon Quest. I have no sense at all what happens to that. NBC owns part of Hulu, so maybe they'll just like give them a nice deal, but it's a thing that has not been decided yet, and it's probably something that lawyers have to look at. It might be months before we even have any sense of that. This is just something that really is like just developing now, where the sort of the longer end of CISO is starting, right? It's not, it's possible that NBC will look at it, they'll see something they didn't realize, and then be like, oh, actually, never mind, we're going to redouble our efforts. Right? Like, the industry changes every day, and maybe something miraculous will happen. It just seems like what CISO as we know it seems to be kind of on the way out.
Jesse David Fox is here with us. You're going to be able to go out and see him with Bill Burr Sunday, May 21st, 6:30 p.m. at the Milk Studios in New York City. But just what Jesse's talking is how I became a fan of his, because you're one of the few people that will talk about the business of show business and the content of show business, and that's very rare.
Yeah.
That somebody's interested in both.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I mean, my background was in the business.
Yeah.
I graduated from college wanting to work in the music business, and I worked at a talent agency for 3 years, and I was just like an assistant, but all my friends were people who cared about this stuff. And so, and I have good friends who are now comedy agents. Some which I talk to for stories, some who just like have been talking about this stuff forever. So I end up just like knowing things that I shouldn't know anyway, or just like know the terms, or know like I know the sizes of venues in New York City for no reason. Like I'm like, oh yeah, well, so that's like a 20,000 cap, depending on if they're seating the floor or not.
Yeah.
And it's like it's knowledge that I have, and for some reason I still care about, partly because friends that I made from that era that we talk about this stuff, and but the reason I got into that, got into trying to work in the business, because I love that stuff, and then I realized I am terrible at business. I have no knack for it. Is there any other way that I can kind of celebrate these things? And I was fortunate that Vulture was finding its place where they both love talking about the content, but they also have this kind of approach to the business that's a little bit more populist than, Hollywood Reporter or Deadline, that's like industry focused.
Right.
And
that can get a little dull. That can get a little,
Yeah, so this was like a perfect marriage of that story of like, oh, this is partly like I'm aware of all these shows. I know what it means. CISO kind of currently represents for comedians, but also this is like a weird story in sort of the trends of what the networks are doing in terms of how they are doing their own streaming sites, or how they're deciding if they want to instead just treat Hulu and Amazon like cable companies, where they sell their content to them for a certain amount of money, which they've been able to have a lot of success with, which is like, oh, NBC would be like, I'll sell NBC's content as a whole to Amazon for a lot of money. Like,
yes.
Where instead of being like, oh, we'll give you one show at a time, they realize the real money is being like, oh, we're the place where you can stream, HBO is all on Amazon, right? And though that deal's ending, because I imagine the industry as a whole is now trying to figure out how to figure out what is the actual price point for it. That is now the future of this business.
At least for 5 minutes.
At least for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, right, so it's, CISO seemed reasonable, like, oh, maybe it's going to be these kind of niche cell phone streaming services. And then it's like, okay, well, now there's this. But in 5 years, well, my coworkers, like, it'll be like some sort of Peacock named streaming service. It'll be all NBC Universal, or we have literally no idea, right? Netflix, I don't even think was doing television 5 years ago.
No?
Yeah.
And they're buying everything, man. They're buying movies, they're buying specials. But, we were just out at Moon Tower and met the people from Laughly, I think is the news service.
Yeah.
And the guy was on the street and he's showing it to me, and I'm just like, okay. Like, I don't know.
Maybe, right?
I hope you guys, you just co-sponsored this giant festival, so I hope it all works out for you. But there's always a new idea, and there's always somebody, like every couple months, to tell you that everything that's happening now will be gone as you know it. I like to watch TV on TV. I don't want to watch it on my phone. So when people go, oh, you can watch stand-up on your phone, I go, why? There's never been a time that I'm just like, oh, let me put on 3 minutes
That's exactly
of
what
stand-up.
I've been looking for. Yeah, no, it's I also as well, if I can.
Yeah.
But I also, I listen to a lot of stand-up. I mean, like, I have to consume it so much. But watching on a phone screen seems weirdly small, and I can save myself that one time in which I can avoid watching something at all times. I think my eyes could rest.
Yeah.
But I will listen to it. I have a lot of stand-up. I'm through the Howl app.
Yes.
That also, and I'm listening to podcasts constantly, or Spotify has a lot of stand-up specials. But when I watch, unless I'm watching ahead of time, I try to watch them all on Netflix, or the ones that are on Hulu, or the ones that are still on CISO. Especially because now there's I was about to say 9 million. I was about to say 90, but that would not be exaggeration. That's underselling how many stand-up specials there are a year. There's probably going to be like 150 this year. Filmed stand-up specials.
Yeah. Which used to be like, Robin Williams is doing one. Dennis Miller's doing,
one a year.
Robert Klein. And then that would be it. Like, oh my God, how do you get one of those? And now you can get a special or even shoot it yourself. Having it get the kind of attention that Ali Wong got last year is, really, really tough. That's why I saw Maria Bamford's new special. I'm like, look what she's doing it differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which forces you to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, anything that could be a story for me to write or to just draw someone's eyeballs to something else. Because if you don't know who these people are, and Ali was like an unknown comedian for the most, she was.
I didn't know her at all,
but she was not where she is now, where she was like, she was playing clubs or whatever.
Yeah.
To be at a point where now she sold out. I can't even remember how many times at Town Hall, but probably could have sold out.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably the biggest in recent time, from like 0 to 60.
I don't think I can think of anyone.
And from a special too.
From a special, and that's what was really exciting as a comedy fan. That it's not like, oh, she just got famous. The idea that like one stand-up special, 1 hour of comedy can still do that quickly. I mean, the closest before that was John Mulaney, but that was over time.
Yes.
And that was also Netflix only had a couple specials, and he was the one that everyone associated with Netflix.
Yes.
He'd always say Pandora was really big for him.
Yes.
So I remember, I think Mike Birbiglia was saying that he got more popular on Pandora because he's associated with John Mulaney's Pandora station. But now the idea that in this landscape where there's so many that Ali broke with, it really is. I can't think of any comparison.
But the thing about Ali too is I think we all knew it 5 minutes into the special. We're like, oh, this is something really interesting, and then it kept building and building. But yeah, she was down at Moon Tower in Austin, and I'm walking down the street the night of her show. I'm just seeing Asian women coming up. Just like I hadn't seen any Asian women in Austin at all.
I get the chance to see her, and honestly, that crowd was just so hanging on her every word, electric. It was a fantastic hour. Which is just crazy to think that somebody could
do it again.
Yes, do it again. But it was great. But yes, that room was like electric in there.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was Pete Holmes was talking to Phoebe Robinson about, he was on a Two Dope Queens taping, and then Ali was a special guest, and he's like, I've these are people that have been around for a while who've seen everyone as a special guest. Chappelle, Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And nothing was like that. He was like, apparently she's the biggest comedian in the world.
Yeah.
When she was just like a person that I knew.
Yeah.
And it's exciting that it can still happen.
Yeah.
And for a special that, deserves a certain amount of attention, but also it's just like she hit a lot of different check marks, and then that got her through to then everyone was deciding to check it out. And Netflix then allows you to do that, right? So it's like, I think this year, in my opinion, the best special was Gerard Carmichael's, which was on HBO. But I don't know if an HBO special can kind of
do that,
ramp you up in that way. Even though I think it's one of the better specials I've seen in recent memory. I think it's incredible. But HBO Go doesn't have that reach, partly because and I think Netflix has the advantage now because they're doing one every week, they're known for it, where HBO's doing like a couple a year.
Well, also, like, you go on Netflix and the specials are sitting right there as soon as you, so you're like, oh yeah, Segura. There you go. You know what I mean? Like,
and you'll give a person at least 5 minutes.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's crazy, but it's like, I wonder if comedians now are like, all right, well, Netflix will probably get 5 minutes of a person who cares. I better have a really strong opener in a way that before specials were like, all right, this is for my fans. I can kind of really stretch out. We're like, no, you got to have like 3 minutes that are really strong, then you can kind of downshift.
Well, I remember talking to David Brenner, and that happened to him from his first Tonight Show, and that's impossible now, right? Where he was a star the next day. He, woke up and had all these contracts coming in and offers from networks for holding and stuff. And then you were like, well, that can't happen anymore, but we saw that happen with Ali Wong with Netflix. I guess there's always going to be that weird thing, but it doesn't mean that somebody else is going to have
No.
They could have a great special. They're not going to have the Ali Wong thing. There was also timing.
Yes.
To that.
It's a thing that I don't know what did it. Like, it really was a thing where I wrote about it because I was like, it's good. And then I was like, okay, cool. I write about comedy. And as a person who's in it, it's hard to know what's going to transcend to be a pop culture thing.
Right.
It just, like, I have my taste, which I think is good. And I have a sense of what is good. But to know what is going to reach beyond not even just like a comedy nerd audience, but like just people that go see comedy audiences, to be like a sensation is impossible to ever predict.
No, you can't.
And I don't think they did. I mean, like, I think if they knew even how big she was now, she probably would be playing venues bigger than Town Hall in New York because they'll sold out quicker than they probably expected.
Absolutely.
We're not going to jump from maybe doing a weekend at Caroline's to doing Madison Square Garden because that would be insane, but she maybe could have sold the tickets.
I think so too, but it was so funny because there's no way to know the analytics. They don't tell you, right? So I went down to interview Allie in Washington, D.C., and it was her first time out after having the baby. And I'm like, this thing's blowing up. And she was like, I don't know. I'm in with the baby. She goes, I did sell out the Improv this weekend, and that's great. And this was, what, like a year ago or so?
Yeah. 1 year.
So that was her first toe back into the water. Like, oh, I sold out the Improv. And now a year later, like you said, she would probably sell out Iowa if she wanted to right now. Well, congratulations to you, dude. Let's let's make sure we keep doing this, and good luck with Bill Burr.
That's a nice way of putting it.
You're going to be on a great ride. Good one with Bill Burr at Vulture Fest Sunday, May 21st, 6:30 p.m. at Milk Studios in New York City, and he's great for the show because he's one of the best writers out there, and very, very unique, so it's perfect for your show.
Yeah, I think he really I've heard him talk about the special and how he almost described it as it was too good. Like, essentially he worked on the material longer than he was expecting, and he's like, it's almost too prepared. And so just like, what does that mean for what he's doing? Because I remember he's talking to you, and he says, like, until I'm preparing for a special, I'll do, like, a lot of hack stuff. I was like, what is that? What does that mean? I was like, because I remember I saw him in Montreal, which was preparing for this special, but it was 2 years ago, and I was like, some of this stuff is, like, I actually thought it was, like, kind of hack, and I was like, how does he go on the road doing, and he probably was like, yeah, I don't care.
He doesn't. It's probably this. We never teach our children. Try not to care too much. Try not to be precious about your work.
You'll only be able to play Madison Square Garden.
Jesse David Fox, thank you again, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
See you next time.
I'll see you.
Bennington is back to discuss a lifetime of disappointment in the Eagles, the band, and the team.
Ring's mission is to make neighborhoods safer. Today, over 1 million people use the amazing Ring video doorbell to help protect their homes. Ring knows how home security begins at the front door, but it doesn't end there. So now they're extending the same level of security to the rest of your home with the Ring Floodlight Cam. Just like Ring's amazing doorbell, Floodlight Cam is a motion-activated camera and floodlight that connects right to your phone with HD video and two-way audio that lets you know the moment anyone steps on your property. See and speak to visitors. Even set off an alarm right from your phone. With Ring's Floodlight Cam, when things go bump in the night, you'll immediately know what it is. Whether you're home or away, the Ring Floodlight Cam lets you keep an eye on your home from anywhere. Ring Floodlight offers the ultimate in home security with high visibility floodlights with a powerful HD camera that puts security in your hands. With Ring, you're always home. Save up to $150 off a Ring of Security Kit when you go to ring.com/comedy. Ring.com/comedy. That's ring.com/comedy.
It's the Bennington Show coming up in just a little bit. It's Unmasked with Sal Vulcano. And Gail, you told me that you and Sal found out when you sat down that you guys have a ton of friends in common.
We had a really long chat. This was after the big dance party, the big DJ dance party. And when we left, we kind of got into this conversation because he's from Staten Island, and I have a lot of friends in high school who grew up on Staten Island, and we started to go through it. We must have known maybe like a solid 15 of the same people.
We got to get him in one day to talk about that. That's odd, though, right?
It's
That's
really,
just crazy.
really
this is a
weird.
very large city, and this kind of stuff happens all the time in New York.
And in fact, I was even saying to him, you know, when the first time I saw you, I didn't even know you were from Staten Island. The first time I saw you, I thought you looked like my high school boyfriend. Yeah. And then he said his name, knew him. He was like, oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. I grew up not far from him. Yeah, I know him. And then from there, we were like, wait a second. And we knew a ton of the same people.
Well, he hired some of them.
Yes.
Some of them work on his show.
Yes, Jay Miller, lead singer of Monty Love.
I only knew him as Monty. I didn't
Yeah.
even know. I turned on the Jay Miller show, and I'm like, why doesn't he just call himself Monty Love? It's such a great name.
Yeah.
But I believe he feels he's grown out of that silliness.
No,
But that band
never.
was I followed Jay around like a puppy dog. Like, I just thought they were like the coolest. And then I started a band with his little sister, who Sal also knows, and like we just knew all the same people.
All
It
right,
was really,
I will
really
tell
weird.
you who Monty Love reminds me of, Jay Miller. Ari Shaffir. They give off the
Interesting.
same kind of vibe. And by the way, I saw Ari last week doing material by his time in Cambodia and Vietnam and all that, and it's magic.
It's crazy.
Like, I wish I was directing this right now. This would be the best special. I mean, first of all, it's so bizarre that he puts himself in these positions, but it's also, he's turned it into just hilarious. I've never been to Vietnam. There's no reason why I should find this
You're like,
overly funny.
I can relate to this.
Yes. And I felt like by the end of it, that's how good of a storyteller. Like, yeah, that reminds me of my trip to Vietnam. Those people are nuts.
Was he gone for like 6 months?
I don't know. He was gone
It
for
was like
a
3
really
months.
long
It was like
time.
3 months. But way to double it now, make my story seem even half of what it should be.
It seemed cool. So I had a question for you guys,
Good.
and I'd like an answer. If someone is tone deaf, okay, are you a tone deaf singer? You can't sing. Are you in turn also a bad whistler? If you're a bad singer, are you a bad whistler?
Well, do you know that? And I saw a New York writer talk about this before, a guy who's been in New York for many, many years. And he said people used to whistle on the subway platforms all the time. And he goes, I miss whistling. Now, my dad was always a whistler. He could whistle out songs and he would whistle. But but the generation after him, where you had, I guess it's the beginning of transistor radios, right? Made it so you didn't need to learn to whistle to have a tune going,
Right.
And people are rare whistlers today.
My ex-girlfriend would say whistling in the house is terrible luck. Like it would bring like demons into the house. So
Well, it was considered bad luck, but it was a way of stopping the children. You know what I mean? So you tie that thing in.
Right.
Like, I don't want you kids whistling. It's like you would have heard it with turn down the TV, you know? Because before you had TV and radio, you had to, am I going to play an instrument? Am I gonna, how do I spend my time?
In order to have music, you had
Yeah.
to make music.
Does anybody here feel like they're a good whistler?
I could do like
Yeah, that would be considered a terrible whistle.
Yeah.
really. It's
Yeah.
I
bad.
feel like I have a pretty strong whistle. Now when somebody talks
Yeah.
about it, then you feel like you can't.
Well,
That's
much
much
better
better.
than
I
his.
feel like I have a strong airflow.
Jen, have you ever tried whistling?
I have, but I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
Like it comes out because I try to smile when I'm doing it.
All right, let me
It
just hear it.
Just try to make just do a little.
Because my face is it gets weird when I try to whistle. Like, see, I can't.
That's terrible.
It's just blowing air.
Yeah. You know?
I used to try at hockey games. Rangers fans
Yeah.
did this.
That's terrible.
What
He's
is
sucking
that?
He's sucking in.
Are you sucking in your
Yes, he
whistle?
wasn't blowing out. He was sucking in.
Oh, you're supposed to blow out?
Oh my god!
I can't do.
Wait, you've been sucking in your whistle
No, how
this
the
whole
fuck
time? I mean, you can use the sucking in.
What
Like, you can suck in. Now, like, Chris, so
Yes.
when you, for example, remember how we used to, like, Chris is a really bad hummer.
Awful.
Yes.
Do you think that because you are a bad hummer and you are a bad singer,
Yeah.
are you a bad whistler? Like, do you think it's easier for you to hit
Have we
notes?
ever even defined that he's a bad singer?
I'm a bad singer, but I think
been-
that of all three, I think whistling I'm by far the best at.
All right, wait a minute. What is a song that everybody knows? So, a song
It's
that-
like,
Row your boat.
no, but sing a
like
song
Hey
like a
Jude.
popular
Like, do
song.
like
All right.
the na 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 part from Hey Jude.
Na 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 na. Hey Jude.
You
I'm not
started
good.
to do.
What are you
Hey,
doing?
hey, goodbye.
You're doing
Yeah.
Hey. Okay, so you're completely off of the song.
Yeah,
completely.
it's just I'm just a bad singer. It's fucking terrible.
The na part, like the Hey Jude chorus.
Yeah.
You know that, right? So sing the chorus to Hey Jude, which is not what you just sang
Yes.
at all.
Just started from the beginning. Start singing "Hey Jude."
Hey Jude. Hey Jude.
You don't even know the
lyrics.
song.
To Hey
I got to hear the song to
No,
kickstart
you
my
don't.
head.
That's not a song that you need to hear first.
This is so strange.
Yeah.
You don't even know Hey. Like now, this is a whole new thing. I've never met somebody who just didn't know Hey Jude.
I thought that was like the standard issue song.
Yes, I said.
What is a song that you know?
Just give me a song you know.
All right, I'll do "Gigantic" by the.
That's a ridiculous. I want a song that the listeners also
Everyone's
know.
gonna go. We have it as a reference point.
Do "Sweet Child of Mine." You know that song,
All right.
right?
Sweet child of mine.
You know it doesn't start there, right?
I need the lyrics. I can't fucking remember.
How do you not know these songs?
Okay, imagine "Sweet Child of Mine" is starting,
Yes, I
and
know.
then start singing it.
I can't tell you the first line of "Sweet Child of Mine."
You are a guy who doesn't know music. A guy who works in radio has zero knowledge of music. You can't sing a pop song.
No, I can't sing a pop song. It's really bad.
Why did you think you belonged in radio?
This is talk radio.
Yes, but how much do we talk about music? And that's why I'm always saying you go grab the song, and you're like, huh? Me dumb. Me can't find song.
You know when you talk like
and
that,
I'm going
you
to
really
grab this suck whistler to fill in for you.
Sucky McGee.
You know, I have
That was
every
him.
right to hang myself after doing this show.
Don't hang yourself. Don't do it.
She got a smile,
Yeah.
It
and it
seems to me.
You know it. All right.
She got a smile and she seems to me something of memory.
This had nothing to do with lyrics. I just tried to come up with just a straight song that you would know.
Terrible. Terrible.
It's not good.
Terrible. So, yeah, before we even get to whistling, we've got so many other problems.
Yeah, that, I think I can't even discuss
By the way,
my whistling
Axl
there.
Rose is one of the few people who had a song with whistling in it that he would whistle. Mm-hmm. Another, Billy Joel, The Stranger, but it's somewhat rare for anyone to put whistles into their songs.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't come up that often in rock music, but it is fun when it happens.
Now, here's how, when I was a little kid, so all the friends would be playing. And if your dad wanted you, right, he might do the dog whistle, and you would know that it was your dad. And now that would never be allowed. You know what I mean? That you would just hear this loud whistle.
like that
like
that
like
one
to
that they
call
do
a
with-
dog in.
Yeah. I can't do it.
Okay.
I've tried.
So, like, even then, some of the moms were like, you're whistling for him like he's a dog. But, you know, it didn't offend us. But now it would be very offensive to people.
You think that would be offensive?
We have the family whistle.
She's doing Almost Famous, but you guys don't know that because you know nothing about music at all whatsoever. And I've learned that today for the first time. And now I
I
know
didn't
where.
mean to expose this
No,
aspect
he's exposed.
of your
He's
personality.
exposed. Because, you know, I used to work with Fez who absolutely didn't like music. And a lot of times, if you were in his car with him, you would turn on the radio to listen, and he would go like this, please, I'm trying to drive. Because the music would distract him. He could listen to sports talk radio, but even then he would turn it down as he saw a red light.
Hold on, I'm getting a bit of
Concentration time. He wasn't the most confident driver.
Man, I feel like sometimes particularly driving alone, I always thought that music was helpful for
I would
concentration.
kill myself if I had a car without music in it. I would reach around till I found something in the glove box that was sharp and put it right into my throat. And I would drive up to a toll booth. My radio didn't work.
Understandable.
I can do it if it's conversation in the car. I'm fine with
It
that.
has to be game show conversation or a good argument.
Yeah. But if I'm alone, I had to have music on. when I drive. Do you drive with music, Jen?
Yeah, I drive with it blasting. Like it's like
Good.
a,
Yeah, I'm
party
sure
in
the
my
bass
car.
is just
Do you
unbelievable.
have, do you have the seat back really low too?
I have a sports car, so it's like I put like the top down.
I
Like
bet
it's
you
pretty
do.
cool.
I bet you have
She's
the
cool.
finest car, yeah.
Fun.
Cool.
All right, Vito, you had something you wanted to ask us about.
Yeah, so I've been watching the shit out of Toy Box lately.
Oh,
Oh,
just-
those are children.
I can't stop. I watched 3 yesterday when I got home, and it got me thinking, what was the most disappointed I ever was by a toy I bought?
Apparently, you've been disappointed by some toys. Yeah, not very good. Don't judge me for saying that.
he's like a 1930s
Yeah.
carny.
Dude, there was actually one recently I watched because I'm catching up on them where he's saying to the guy like one of the guys is saying kids don't go out and play and this toy will. He's like, look, I don't know your kids, but I ask that you don't judge them. Okay? Okay? I don't want to tell you how to parent your children, but I don't think you should judge them very much. Okay?
I think he's like an old man as a child.
he is.
Oh, with his nice little bow tie and sweater that he has
So
on.
you had a disappointing toy when you
Yeah.
were younger? What was it?
It was Mousetrap. It was the most disappointing thing I've ever bought in my life.
No one's ever played a complete game of mouse.
Dude,
Shit
that
game.
I would actually really agree with that. That's crazy. I totally forgot about that game. I remember seeing commercials
Yeah.
for the game and being like, this is gonna fucking change my life. These kids are having a blast. The whole family's together. And I remember the first getting it and then just being like, how the fuck is anyone gonna play this?
Apparently, I can't play this game.
Yeah.
Never been on live television before.
You certainly can't put it together piece by piece during a board game. You die.
Yeah.
So you could try to just put the mousetrap together, but it also was not as exciting as you want it to be. Chris Stanley, for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Play-Doh.
What?
As a kid, I thought kind of sucked.
Play-Doh was great.
Oh my god! I literally wish I had Play-Doh right now.
I felt like it turned too fast, but I might have kept it down the air I didn't put it back into the fucking.
No, you gotta
You
keep
gotta
it.
keep
Yeah,
it
you just
sealed.
left it out like you do like you did your sandwich. But yeah, you don't want a hard Play-Doh. That can't be played.
I feel like it wasn't durable enough. It wasn't durable enough toy. Like it was almost like fucking
Dude,
one and done.
to me, that was like one of those first like childhood stress reducers.
Sure.
There's been a thing recently that there's a new toy. I think they're called sliders or spinners or spinners. That's what they're
fidget
called.
spinners.
Yeah, fidget spinners. Exactly. So they got really popular, and it's like that new toy that teachers are trying to ban. Like this is
I don't
like
blame
an
'em.
age-old thing that's yo-yos. When I was a kid, it was Pogs, and then like Tamagotchis.
Laser
Like this is the
pointers.
new thing. But the thing is, they're therapeutic. They're for kids who have ADHD or
Then you know what? Let a kid smoke a cigarette at school because I needed that for stress reduction. But we had a toy like that when I was younger too, and the teacher always would take away our switchblades, and I'd be like, "I got lunch next. I got to defend myself, try to protect my quarters from the other kids." No, I disagree with Play-Doh. As a matter of fact, there are so many new people that go up against Play-Doh now that it's very expensive, and it's almost straight adults using it.
Oh yeah, that's like a whole trend. It's like different like gacks and goos and
And
stuff.
you sit at your desk and you're Play-Dohing because it, like you said, it centers you and it helps you think.
Yes. So if you're a fidgety person, and I tend to be that way, like I have something in my hand, like
Right.
while I'm talking, and then that helps center your energy. But it became a huge trend with adults, and then there was like make your own, or like people like did their own homemade ones, and they'd be like all sparkly and
Yeah.
like glow in the dark and shit like that.
Yeah,
and
I never
the
want to
adults-
see what someone made with their Play-Doh. It's just make it, destroy it, make it, destroy it. Jen, disappointing toy for you.
Furby. I had one when I was.
Furby?
It was like this little talking like
Yeah.
bird thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Everybody knows what Furby is.
Boring.
When they start talking in the middle of the night and shit like that.
Yeah, and it was so annoying, and I don't know why everybody bought one. And I was like, this is such a waste of money now that I'm looking
It
back on
was
it.
like $100 too.
It was
Yeah,
really
they were really
expensive.
expensive. It was like, yeah, that was. I guess that was probably like the early aughts. Was that
Yeah.
when like the Furby was like,
90s.
Yeah,
But there's always some version of that. Like Teddy Ruxpin was like a Furby at one
yeah,
time.
loved Teddy.
You know,
Ruxpin.
again, they were expensive, and if you have more than one kid, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Because now I'm out $450 and I got to get other presents.
Oh, Christ.
You're like, I'm looking at a $3,000 Christmas here.
They made the McDonald's one at Furby, and then I remember my mom brought that home and was like, "I got you a Furby," and I was like, "This
You're
isn't."
like,
I was
you're
like, "I know
not
for a
the-
fucking
this shit
fact
doesn't-
this isn't a Furby.
This shit doesn't talk.
It doesn't blink.
It doesn't do anything.
This is a stationary toy."
Boring.
I hope you didn't make your mom feel bad.
No, I just remember
He
looking
did.
at
She
it.
buys you everything. She buys you hats, glasses,
Glasses.
everything.
No,
Chicken
actually,
parm.
I used to. My mom. I used to walk her through Christmas when she couldn't put the toys together, and be like, "Look, it's gonna be okay."
Just the two of us.
Yep. On Christmas morning.
Gail, did you have one of these toys?
Yeah, I definitely had a really disappointing toy. It was called Crocodile Mile, and it is a slip and slide that the commercial for it was like 90% animation. Like, they don't show you a lot of what the toy is. So, like, it's like kids running and they slide and, oh no, there's the gator. But, like, when you actually get it, two things. One, it's just like plastic. It's just like this plastic bullshit. You run and you slide on the grass, which you then stick your hose in. It's supposed to be a water slide. But think about this. Would you like to run and hit belly first on grass? It's fucking terrible. And I remember, like, I've been waiting for this forever. And I run and I'm like, that was the fucking most painful thing. And, like, you feel every little rock. And it,
When
You
a
hit your
toy
knee.
causes you pain. It's really
I'm
funny.
like, I remember just doing it like 10 times, just being like, I must be doing this wrong. But it was so painful.
I'd have to say the most disappointment for me, Vietnam. The man in the black pajamas, dude. We're the adversary.
Were you in the shit?
Oh, yeah. I was in the shit. Now, somebody who went to Vietnam is going to get mad about that. Sorry,
That's
but
stolen valor.
I just like to say this. Enough time has passed and we're looking down the barrel at World War III. Enough with Vietnam. Chris, coming up in less than 10 minutes, we're going to be jumping into the Unmasked.
With Mr. Sal Vulcano, we recorded at the Moon Tower Comedy Festival.
And that's in Austin, Texas. And all of us have a piece of our heart back in Austin.
Yeah, that was so much fun. And what a great place to do it at the Velveeta Room. And it was just such a great club. It was like the perfect space for it.
And we all love Sal.
We really adore him. Like, he honestly, he's one of those people who, you know, he has such a tremendous amount of fans.
Yeah.
And you know that they're just like, I love him. There's like, but it's like, if you meet him, like, yes, you're right. You would love him if you knew him.
I
He's
wouldn't
like
mind
one of those
doing
people.
Something down the road. Maybe we do like a town hall, or maybe even it's another Unmasked with everybody from the show. That would be fun.
That would be a blast.
Oh, this could be fun. What if we did it in Staten Island?
Oh, shit.
And we did it in their hometown.
I would love it.
You know, bring out all your exes. But Chris, you said you wanted to get to something before we jumped in Unmasked.
Yeah. Look, all right. So, Britney Spears just announced she's gonna stepping down from her show in Las Vegas.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I guess I'll just have to listen to the records instead of looking at her play the record for me. She should sit in a chair and just hit play. Bing, 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 one more
It's on a
time.
slideshow of her Instagram.
Hey, come on,
Well,
Chris.
it's Instagram.
I know, but I don't want you to feel bad, like you crossed the line.
Do you think she had the best celebrity comeback from like a public disaster? Because when she went nuts and shaved her head and went, you know, and her father.
I'm going to make the case this. I'm not even sure she needed to come back. She was still a major star while all that was happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was pretty.
Like, she never lost her stardom. Even you could have said, okay, she's working again, but I don't know if I call that work. When I see her, it's like a little girl dancing in her bedroom. Her body looks fantastic.
God,
but
yes.
I don't know if I would call that a comeback when she was still a major star the whole time.
Yeah, I think like that was the weirdest thing because she was big enough at that point while she was doing it. And I remember it just was all so surreal that I was like, this is how this story ends? Like,
Right.
I thought that was it. I definitely didn't
I
think
100%
I thought she
thought-
was just going to keep going deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But yeah, I remember just thinking like,
hold on, the Britney Spears story ends with her going fucking crazy? Like,
Yeah.
Nobody saw that shit coming.
K-Fed gets the kids?
And I don't know whether, she returned as a recording artist, right? She's more of, it's a chance to go see Britney Spears,
Right.
like the same way that people go see Kim Kardashian at a club.
Did any of her newer album? I mean, like I remember it's Britney Bitch, like that was pretty big. But like, did any of her newer albums like get popular, or is it just all nostalgia stuff?
Here's what happened. She was supposed to record "Sweet Child of Mine." She went to Chris Stanley for the lyrics, and it turned into a disaster.
That is not good.
Not good.
Sorry, Britt.
It's Britney, bitch. That's hilarious. All right, Jen, what about for you? Come back.
So it's a more recent one with Kendall Jenner. I feel like after the Pepsi catastrophe, now after the Met Gala with her new dress and her new boyfriend, dating ASAP, I feel like she's made a major comeback,
But
at least
here's
in the
the
black
thing.
community.
I think I would say this: the people who really liked her didn't jump out away from her. It was the people who didn't like her had a chance to pile on her. You know what I mean?
I mean, I liked her, and then that happened, and then all my friends were like, we hate Kendall Jenner. I was like, I guess I hate her, too, because that is pretty messed up. She can't just be, a voice for, standing up the police with, the black people. She just can't be a voice. And then now, after, I'm like, that's
something
pretty
worse.
good
I was the one, and I was hired to do it. Wasn't I had to do this campaign called Black Lives Don't Matter. Now, I don't care. I was looking getting paid. I was getting almost $200 for 10 minutes of work. And everybody got mad at me, and now I feel like I'm making a comeback. Because I came back with Black Lives kind of matter. But
They matter to me.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you what matters to you.
So Kendall's back.
Yeah, I feel like it was just
and
a major mess
Chris,
up.
you say Britney is back.
Brittany's back, Ron, despite
what-
her getting off of that show in Las Vegas.
Well, I mean, I feel like this is a little bit obvious, but I feel like the Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, that
comeback
was
is
major.
pretty
That's a great
fucking
one.
huge.
Yeah, he
that,
was-
he really seemed like
He was Britney fucked up.
yeah, he was really lost. Didn't seem like you were gonna get that dude back, and now he's the biggest movie star going.
He did time. He was in prison.
He did a little bit of time. He
Yeah,
did,
absolutely.
I mean, he did something he was all fucked up once. Thought he was going home, went into his neighbor's house, and then crashed in the kid's airplane bed. Was just sleeping in the airplane
I guess
bed.
this is my airplane bed.
By the way, if that was my kid and all that, no way am I calling the cops on Robert.
No way. I'm just waking up.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Daddy Jr.'s
Hey,
here.
buddy.
What's breakfast?
I'm going to give you one. Went away, came back, and now went away again. Mickey Rourke.
Yes.
And his was as soon as he came back, he started making stupid movies for money instead of trying to stay making good movies.
Immediately after The Wrestler,
I
two or
know,
three
and
really
that
bad
was
movies
so.
came out.
One of them with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And The Wrestler was so I was so excited for that comeback because I love young Mickey Rourke.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is there anything more attractive than young Mickey Rourke? Maybe not.
I thought you were going to say more fuckable than young Mickey Rourke.
I was. I paused for a reason. I looked around at my friends and family and thought maybe.
No,
maybe
I
not.
say you say what's on your mind.
Is there any more friendly than a
Big
young...
Beats, you always give us the wrong answer. What do you got?
I think Kathy Lee Gifford's a pretty inspirational story, going from she had that whole thing happen in the 90s where for 10 years she was untalkable. You didn't hear anything.
Untalkable.
Nobody talked about her. Nobody
That's
said
untouchable.
No. I mean, when she was
She
gone.
couldn't work.
You're
Yeah.
calling that untalkable?
I meant she wasn't
But
talked about.
here's my only problem with that. A, she was bad on a talk show. She went away for a while. Now she's back and bad on a talk show. I don't know what it is about her people buy into.
And didn't she dip out of the public light because of slave labor?
Yeah, no,
or
she
something?
did something really bad. So
Yeah.
I'm saying now she's back on
Well-
TV hosting that fourth hour.
She had a
hammered on
clothing line that, she put her name on, but she wasn't over there setting up the factories. You know what I mean?
Cracking the whip.
Anybody who has a perfume line has probably, you could trace them back into spraying their perfume into puppies' eyes.
Right.
Why'd
you
kind
do
of bad.
that?
Yeah.
I didn't.
It's kind of bad if you end up in the clothing or perfume business. I'm going to give you another big comeback. Chris Stanley.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've had so much scandal.
Well,
Terrible
most
rumors.
of it child related.
Exactly. The rumors,
Yeah.
that's what they are. They're rumors, everyone. It's not truth.
Now I still feel like there's a lot of stuff unworked out between that. Like we haven't really got to the core of like what it is that you're afraid of about children.
Yeah.
And like
What
why
bothers you?
Yeah, like what is it that bothers you?
Like, shut your eyes and just tell us what would be the problem.
The problem would be this.
Hey, Chris.
Oh my God.
Hey,
Shut the
Chris.
fuck up.
Chris.
No,
Stop
this is
it.
therapeutic. Work it out.
This is seriously shut
Work
the fuck
through
up.
Are you my baseball coach?
Oh,
Yes, that's
no.
So talk with your team.
Chris, you look like my baseball coach.
I'm not your coach.
Can you step behind me and show me how to swing?
Stop it. I'm not fucking showing you anything. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Can I tell you something, Chris? You're coming across as guilty right now.
Yeah, and aggressive towards the child.
Don't want children
Do you
telling me
remember
that
when you held me?
I never helped you. What the fuck?
Come on now,
Yeah,
Chris.
you held
just
me. You
take
held
a
me
deep
as I
breath.
swung.
Where is there another adult here?
No, you're the only adult.
I gotta leave. I gotta get away from
Stay,
you.
work through it, Chris.
Yeah.
Work
Come on,
through
Chris.
it.
Come on.
No.
Are you
Just
my father?
say-
I'm not your father. My
Hold on.
semen works.
You wanna
Everyone
be?
looked over. He has an erection. Chris, you have
No!
an erection right now.
That's part of the process. It's going to
Yes.
start out that way, and then he's going to work past
Like
that.
Marie Bamford taught us about that.
Exactly.
Go
Maria
to the thing
Bamford
that you
said,
fear.
exactly. Go head first into it, repeat
Face
it
first,
over and
then
over.
fear.
Just say, Chris, just say over and over, I'm a pet.
Come here,
I will
Chris.
never say that. I'm not a pet.
You're not
Just
going to
come
get
here.
better.
I'm see. There's nothing wrong with me in this sense where I like to be with adults and not children. I don't like to be around them. I don't like to do anything with them.
But we
Like,
can have fun.
There's no way to have fun with a child.
Yeah, there is. We're doing it right now.
There's tons of
Oh, there's not one.
Baseball.
I like adult activities.
Me too.
little kids at baseball. Listen to him.
That's nice.
I like doing things with
Hold
you,
him,
Chris.
Chris. Just hold him
I'm
while he
not.
talks.
I'm not. No.
Let him at least sit on your lap.
No.
Will you
That's
play
not,
catch with me?
never going to happen, little
Chris,
man.
can you? Oh my God!
Okay,
He doesn't
whatever.
even see him as a child.
He's guilty.
He sees him as a
I didn't
small
expect
man.
this to come out.
Small, legal man.
No, that's what people call kids.
No,
sometimes.
they don't. Chris, I got to get ready for a mass. How much?
This
how much
is
time do we
highly
have here right
inappropriate
now?
before the mass.
Yeah, I feel bad about this because this is on a scale that we're all looking forward to.
This is Unmasked with Sal Vulcano, recorded down in Austin for the Moon Tower Comedy Festival at the Velveeta Room. It's such a blast. And Sal is seriously one of the best dudes going. It's so funny and really
funny,
a great day.
really hardworking. And if you ever get to hear his meltdown that we did on the bonfire, no, I guess that was the Skanks.
The
That would be
Skanks.
Legion of Skanks.
Yeah, where we were forced to debate each other on the pros and pros of racism. So that's coming up next. It's Unmasked with our buddy Sal. We'll be right back. This is Bennington.
Live from the Velveeta Room in Austin, Texas, as part of the Moon Tower Comedy Festival. This is SiriusXM's Unmasked with special guest from Impractical Jokers, Sal Vulcano. And now, here's the host of Unmasked, Ron Bennington.
Sal Vulcano, everybody, let him hear it. In his hometown, Austin, Texas.
That's right. Are you guys all from Austin? Anyone not from Austin? All right, that solves nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Thank you so much for coming here for this, to listen to me.
Let me just, I'm going to give this away because I was with Sal earlier today and he was asking me about Austin. He goes, what's with all the barbecue? A lot of barbecue here.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I know you guys probably take pride in it. Yeah. Everywhere we travel, everyone's always like, specifically with barbecue. I'll say barbecue. Now
you make a liar out of me.
I'm correcting. When I'm hanging out, I'm like, what's with the barbecue, bro? But no, everyone's always pushing specifically barbecue. Like, oh, you have to go here. This is the best. We have the best barbecue. And I mean, the barbecue is good, and it always tastes exactly the same to me wherever I get it. Is that a sin to say?
No, I'll just say this: the best barbecue in the world, Austin, Texas. That's it. And I don't pander.
That's a professional right there. I'm like, I don't know, guys. I just don't get it.
What's with all your ugly building and bridges? It's terrible here.
So, Austin. Love it. I love it. I do love it.
Your schedule is so crazy busy that you were checking in with us today because you didn't know whether your flight was going to make it.
Yes.
You had a connecting flight.
I did, from Nashville, yeah.
Now, if someone tells me...
Great barbecue then.
Yeah. For me...
Oh, my God. Take pride in something else.
Well, there is a little history to this town outside of barbecue. But if someone says to me, oh, you have a connecting flight, then I say, no, I'm not doing it. I have to find directly.
I am on the same page as you.
Yeah.
And I think the only... And I don't want to, say anything bad about any other airline, but Spirit. I think the only other one that was direct was Spirit.
Yeah.
And I took them for the first time about a month ago, and it was an utter shit show from the second I stepped into the airport to when we got off the plane. So I was like, I'll just do the layover. But I took a really early one.
Yes, you did.
And it was delayed still, but everything worked out all right.
But I also want to thank one of our sponsors, Spirit Airlines, for the Moon Tower. Spirit Airlines. It's a real shit show.
They serve terrific barbecue.
Barbecue.
I'm hyper aware of my R's during this one.
No, can I just say this too? Because I don't know whether people around the country, but Staten Island, where you're from, is the last place people really talk like New Yorkers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Long Island, Staten Island, yeah.
Yeah, Long Island.
Some parts of Jersey.
Yes. Well,
what
we're saying is Italians.
The Italian population is really the only people left that talk like Italians.
Yeah.
No, I listen to myself sometimes and I'm like, oh, I wish I could improve that. Because it kind of when I'm around people speaking like that, I don't think about it. But if you listen back, sometimes you can sound a little bit buffoonish. If I'm being honest,
No, you see, that's the thing, though. There's something that works about your show is that the guys talk the way they grew up talking. I think.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And if you would have said to me years ago, oh, people in England are going to love these four guys from Staten Island as they prank each other, I'd say, oh no, that show will not work.
There's no way. I thought they would I mean, I didn't think it would take in a slightest bit. I actually don't know what it is. Because a lot of times, the British comedy is different than American comedy. It's more sophisticated, actually.
Yeah.
And we are not that. So maybe we were just a refreshing dose of non-sophistication that they took to. But I don't know. They've embraced us, really.
So they may, people in England, and you're playing all around the world now, and they see you guys acting like this, and my theory is they go, oh, that's how Trump got elected. Because, by the way, Staten Island was the only place in New York City who went in way big for Trump.
Yeah, they're the red borough.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I can't speak for anybody else.
But it is amazing that this show, which, like we said, the odds of this making it in the United States on True TV, which at the time I don't think many of us had even heard of, the fact that you became a hit in the United States is a long shot. But now around the world, it's...
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm like, Ron, you're right. Continue. No, I know. We're just as shocked as you.
Yeah.
We got the show. It's such a long shot to get a show. Since we've been on the air and we have a little bit of we're in the public, and so we kind of try to run with that momentum. And so we've pitched other shows in the last 6 years that we've been on the air, and we've got pilots on 5 other shows, which is pretty good, and none of those even came close to making it to air. So it just showed us, and it goes to show how hard it is to get on. And then after we got the first season, I was like, well, that was that. We're out of ideas. 17 episodes. There's not much more we could do. And then you want to fast forward like 6 years later, and it's like, I can't believe we're doing it. But we're still finding a new audience, so that's good. And we're still having fun, so that's good.
Well, that I think is great about doing it on True TV, too, because it kind of rolled out. It wasn't an overnight fluke success. You know what I mean? Whatever this thing that works keeps working. Because I remember Big Jay Okerson is the guy who turned me on to it, our mutual friend.
Jay.
And he said this to me. He goes, I know you think you're going to hate this show, but you're going to like it.
A lot of people, that's their like opening line to me. And I'm always like, no, but I completely understand it. I completely understand, because if I was removed from the situation, would feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
It's a couple of obnoxious assholes, just like, they think they're so funny, it's sophomoric and everything. I mean, we try to toe the line. I mean, we are friends for 28 years, and we are silly for sure. But, you'll see other influences in the show and stuff like that. And when people give it a chance, they usually say, oh, we misjudged you guys.
Yeah, whatever it is that works. That's the thing. And I mean, the fact that it can't be repeated, because whatever it is, it's very unique to you guys. But you all met when you were kids, right?
Yeah, we met as freshmen in high school in 1990.
Yes, so just think of the people that you knew when you were freshmen in high school. You probably see them once a year now, and these guys are still doing that thing, trying to make each other laugh like when you were freshmen.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I really, because I don't really talk about it out loud a lot, or especially not in a setting like this where it's under a microscope. But we can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's like I never even thought like I would own a home, and I just bought a home for I just got right at 40 years old, bought my first home, right on track where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
No prospects, no children, no nothing like that. But but I mean, it afforded us all this stuff, and I just even 5 years ago, I would never even imagine. Just really, really lucky about it,
But it isn't just luck. I mean, you work really hard about it, and I think one of the reasons that you guys are so accepted in the comedy community is because you show this real working club. What you do with this is the thing about Sal. I'll see him in the city, and you're out doing 5 or 6 shows a night at small rooms to work on his comedy. When I'm thinking, why aren't you home in your gold hot tub and just doing giant lines of cokes off prostitutes the way you're supposed to be in this business?
Really?
Everybody's clapping for that. That's way better than the home, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, hot tubs, they harbor germs. No. I like hot tubs, actually. Yeah, no. I mean, God, I love it. There's nothing I want to do more than comedy in every way. So with the guys, solo, whatever. And now I finally just forced myself to make the time to do solo stuff. And I feel like my one regret is I wish I would have started comedy at 17 years old.
Right.
And, stand up. Mm-hmm. And so now I have to make up for a lot of lost time, and I love doing it. So I'm happy to grind. I love it. I love it. So.
But you really do go out and grind. I mean, you'll play these giant arenas, and then the following night you're playing a bar show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Yeah, well, because that's the best part of comedy.
Yeah,
like the big theater and the 5 people.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's a different experience, but you still get the same out of it. Yeah. And you learn from each, and it's just, that's it. That's what comedy is. I mean, everyone does that. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
And you got to just work out, and you got to work out in every room, and you got to get your reps in, and I'm not it's funny for me to talk about it because I've been a long time fan of comedy, like a comedy nerd, I would call myself. So I knew the world of comedy pretty well. I knew what it was about and stuff, so I knew what to expect.
Who did you love when you were a kid? When you were just a kid growing up?
So. My first influences, stand-up wise, believe it or not, Eddie Murphy. Mm-hmm. My dad, he let me watch Eddie Murphy, so I loved Eddie Murphy, loved Bill Cosby himself. That was a big one.
Still?
Yeah. And I respect the special for what it is. Yeah. He's just a great storyteller, and I tell stories. Eddie Murphy's a great storyteller, and I skew to telling stories. Andy Kaufman was a big one for me. that's. I mean, I'm trying to just think when I was like,
but that was
little.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you see that and you go, okay, that's a job, but you don't think you can. You're not thinking to yourself, oh, I'm going to do that job someday.
No, I wish I just believed in myself like a little earlier. But like, I would always do it for friends, for family. Like at a party or I would get up and I would do jokes, and I would do at like family dinners. I would get up and do impressions and jokes, and I'd act things out. But never. I was just so nervous and I even like took one of these in like high school or at like the beginning of college. I took one of these stand-up comedy classes.
Yeah.
Because like my desire was there to do it, and I was like, I just need a little guidance. Like I didn't know that much about comedy. I didn't have that many comedian friends yet, people to bounce things off of and stuff. And I took that, and I don't know. I think it was probably a complete waste, but yeah. But then I was like just too nervous to make the leap. And then one day I was like, this is ridiculous. Like I just have to do it because. I mean, you hear that a lot. A lot of people are like, I always thought about doing it, but it takes a lot to get it. I take nothing away from any person at any level who gets up to do stand-up comedy. Like the mics, the open mics, the whatever. If you're getting up and you're trying, I have the same exact respect for you as Bill Burr. You know what I mean? It just takes a lot. You know what I mean? And you have to learn in front of everyone. There's no other way to learn except in front of everyone. So everything that comes with learning is on display. So it is tough. It is tough.
It is really incredibly brave when you see a kid and he's like, I got to go up. And they're so nervous that if you would say to them, or you could fight a bull, and they would go, I'd rather do that right now. Because, that thing of pushing yourself through is the biggest step. Of all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But you're a little kid and you're doing impressions. Who were you doing impressions?
Yeah, my first one was George Jefferson. George Jefferson. I used to live in a 2-family home with my grandparents. And me and my grandpa were like really close. We bonded over a lot of shows. And when I was little, Jefferson's was a big show. It's my favorite show of all time. And I used to watch it, and it used to make my grandpa laugh so much and me laugh so much. So I just used to try to emulate George Jefferson, who I think is an absolute Sherman Hemsley is an absolute genius.
Yeah,
so funny, and to bridge like the gap, it was like heavy-handed. The show could be at times too,
But that's the thing, that here you are, you're watching that show, that you're a little kid, you can watch it, and then your grandfather can watch it, and now you do that kind of show, because everyone always says about you guys, and again, when we're talking about the impossible thing that they've turned on now, is that this crazy show that you do is also a family show that bonds people. You'll see 4 generations will show up to see these guys on tour. And that should, again, never happened.
Yeah, I never thought. I mean, I don't really think about this like in this light. So to compare it that way to the Jefferson, that made me feel good.
Yeah,
that's why I'm here. People come to the show. They come to the show. They do, and when we do meet and greets after, and it's very common. Like almost like once a night, we'll meet a full 4 generations of family, or 3 if the person died or whatever. And it's there's a little something for everyone. We just hope that the edgy stuff goes over the kids' heads and probably over the seniors' heads, and then it's just like there's a little physical comedy, there's a little silliness, and then there's some.
But that's also basic Italian American type families where there are there's ball busting that always takes place. And then there's also jokes that sometimes they throw in the Italian words suddenly out of nowhere. And if you said them, you wouldn't say it in front of a whole family. But even the grandmothers will do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was actually, it's funny that you say it because, like, my mom, so growing up for me, my mom, she's going to hate that I said, my mom would curse like a truck driver, right? And my dad would never curse in front of us at all. Like, I think, like, one time my dad said shit and he was like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's okay. Like, you let me watch Eddie Murphy. He's like, remember throwing pussy at me? We're watching it together, eating a sandwich. And Eddie Murphy's like, pussy over here, pussy over there. My dad's like, oh shit. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. But my mom used to be like, don't fucking be late. Don't listen to that. And I was one of 2 kids in my grammar school who did not say a curse word. Even after 8th grade, I never said one. Like, I don't know. I don't know why. I knew I would get in trouble, but then I also just felt it was kind of wrong. And I remember I didn't curse till high school. And I remember, like, the first day, like, I cursed. I was doing an impression of something in the schoolyard, and I was like, yeah, some guy told us the cop that have a good fucking day, cop. And I had my friends laughing and everything, and I was like, oh my god, I just cursed, but I'm kind of like old enough. But like maybe I won't. Like no one really will know. It's just on me. Can I accept it now? Am I a cursor now? Is this the new me? Like all these things are going through my head, and then we went up after recess, and my teacher took me on the side, Mrs. Coover. She took me on the side, and she said the windows were open up here. I was grading papers. I heard you curse, and they knew I didn't curse. Oh no, this was the end of 8th grade. I'm sorry, This was the end of 8th grade. It was like graduation time. I remember this because she knew me and Richie Camerata didn't curse. We're the only 2 kids, and she said, "I want you to know, I heard you cursing out there. I know you don't curse. I'm really disappointed in you." And I was like, "Oh my god, like I am a piece of crap."
But let's hear it for Richie Calderano, who still holds the record. He's literally the Cal Ripken of not cursing. This guy to this day.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
He's carrying the strap, and he remembers that day in 8th grade when you blew it. You had it going.
There was one other time.
Yeah.
There was one other time I just remembered from this. This isn't a curse word, but I was younger than that. I was probably in like 5th grade, and my mom did something that really, really made me angry. And I went into my room, and I went behind my bunk beds, and I was like... I guess people listening, I'm giving the finger. Like, I'm emphatically giving it a double finger. And I was like, ugh. And I forgot there was on my closet door, there was a full-length mirror. And she saw it through the angle of the mirror, which I didn't see her in my periph at all. And I hear her go, "Whoa!" And she ran in, and this sounds like so stereotypical, but she dragged me into the bathroom, and she put soap in my mouth. Which, if we could just talk about this right now, I didn't curse. Like, she should have just washed my middle fingers. I shouldn't have got soap in the mouth for giving the finger. I should talk about that on stage.
Yeah, that's good. But you have never gotten away with anything in your life. Seriously, never even fool around on your taxes, because it'll happen immediately with you.
I know, yeah. Now that I'm realizing that I do not have a good track record.
No, you never caught a break, ever. Now, you think a lot of that stuff, too, was being a Catholic kid, that you had that?
I went to Catholic school from kindergarten. I was in Catholic school till senior year of college. Just so happens. Not that I was like a devout Catholic, but our grammar school is K through 8, kindergarten through 8. So that was all. Then I went to a Catholic boys' high school where I met the guys, and then I went to St. John's, which is considered a Catholic university.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I grew up Catholic,
right?
But I don't really subscribe to that right now.
Yeah.
Like I just said, like
it's not a magazine, by the way.
Yeah.
You don't subscribe.
I don't subscribe to Catholicism Weekly. That's how they get you. You get one issue, they keep sending the shit, and they keep charging you. Then you feel guilty if you don't renew.
But do you think, even though you've moved on from that, it still keeps a lot of those guilt issues?
It is so weird.
Yeah.
It is ingrained in our psyche, Catholics. Is there anybody Catholic here? Or Christian or whatever, what have you? It's so weird because like a long time ago I was like, okay, I kind of get how everything works. I kind of believe more in science, and I'm an adult, and I take religion away from no one. But even though I feel that way, I still feel the Catholic guilt with things, even though I know I've told myself I don't believe in that. So it's ingrained in a way that you can't get it out, really.
Well, it is smart with any religion is get them while they're young. You know what I mean? Before you can figure it all out yourself. Oh, here's the rules.
Yeah, you know? And again, not taking for those who believe that. I mean, that your own beliefs is my belief, but I even though I've made I've conscious effort that no, this is what I believe in. I sometimes feel guilty, like in a religious way.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you also worry about that because we grew up this way and it actually happened to you, but the immediate punishment and the fact that has happened in your life. Maybe the Catholics are 100% right now after talking to you. How quickly you get busted for whatever you do.
I doubled down too because I taught I taught CCD to get college credit in senior year. I taught third grade catechism on the weekends to kids.
Yeah,
and so I don't even remember any of it, but I for like almost 2 years I did that. But it was just to get extra credit for
Yeah.
And his is funny. The kids that I taught are 31 right now.
Wow. Yeah.
It's like I just pulled off a magic trick or something. Whoa.
They just went, oh my God, he's really old then. But I think it's great. Like, you went all the way through elementary school, high school, college, and then at 23 years old, you finally met a black kid. It took that long to finally go, oh, there's people outside of this.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that's funny that you say it. My neighborhood, I had a lot of black friends, but in school we only had maybe 1 or 2 black kids per class. In school there wasn't that many in my high school or anything, but still friends with them to this day. There's 2 of them. Will and Dexter.
And they cursed early. Don't worry about those guys. They were rappers. At Staten Island, there's also an incredible rap scene that's happened there. Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang is from there.
That's the scene.
Yes.
But they are the best, so.
But I think it's amazing, like, even with that background, that you guys even got together and thought to yourselves, let's do improv. Like, forget about before even TV. That's not a normal thing for kids from Staten Island to go, let's do improv.
Yeah, I think if you have it in you, you have it in you. Maybe we're like part of the minority, but our school, Monsignor Farrell, they had an improv workshop or whatever you want to call it. And so we did that, and it was fun. It was a way to meet girls, because we did it with other schools. We were an all-boys school, but we combined with other schools. We go, and it was at night, and they teach you, and you do scenes and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. And so I kept doing that when I went to college. And I did it in the city. I took classes in the city, and I liked it. And then when I got back from college, me and the guys, we all went to different schools. And when we got back, we kind of all were doing something like that. And so we were like, oh, why don't we just try and do it together and see what happens? And we used to get together in Joe Gatto is one of the guys from the show. We used to get together at his house in his mom's basement 3 nights a week for 3 hours a night rehearsing. And we used to record every rehearsal. And then when we would, about 2 hours, then when we were done, we'd watch it back like football players watch tape. And we'd pause it and be like, see what you did there? You could have done it different. You could have done it like that, and you could have done that. And we did that for 6 months before we ever performed.
Wow. Yeah. That's so, I've never heard of anybody doing it.
It's probably ridiculous. It's probably not necessary at all. And we probably sucked big time, but at least it gave us a little bit of we felt like we were preparing.
It does take the improvisation out of improv for you guys. But when you guys started to perform, did you perform in Staten Island or in Manhattan?
No, we performed in Manhattan. The first place we ever performed that was a place in Hell's Kitchen. It's still there, called Producers Club Theater.
Yes, I know that
black
place.
box theater, and we started in the 50-seater, and we do 2 shows a month, one night. 2 shows that night, and we did it once a month. And we pull friends of friends, co-workers, family members, and then word spread a little bit. And then we started doing it every other weekend. And then we did a couple of shows in Staten Island at the College of Staten Island. They had a nice big theater, so that was like a bump up for us because it was 150 seats. But we did that for 4 or 5 years, and then we stopped. And then the next iteration was a couple of years later, MySpace and YouTube had just come out, and so we started filming sketches and putting them online, and that was the next wave of kind of what we got into now.
So really not a lot of people were doing it at first because the bandwidth was pain in the ass and stuff like that. So you started to find out that some of these sketches would take off, but they weren't necessarily people that could go to see you at that theater because it goes out wherever.
No one. We didn't know who. We didn't know who did it. Who put it on? We put it up. We made a YouTube channel and a MySpace page, but those websites featured us on their homepage. Has a lot of traffic, and we got a lot of views. And then we didn't know who was doing it, and we later met the person who did it.
Really?
Yeah,
that was putting
really
you up.
Nice girl. Yeah. And then MySpace reached out to us to make some videos for them, and we got to meet her, and that helped a lot because it got millions of people to watch our, what we were doing. And back in the day, MySpace ranked the comedy pages. And when we made one, there was like maybe 15,000 comedy pages. And I remember by the time it was petering out, there was about 130,000. And there was an algorithm how they ranked you. And I guess a lot of it had to do with the views. And so since she did that for us, we rose the ranks and were ranked number 1 for a bit, and that was a big deal. MySpace was a really big deal, and then all the other comedians on there were like very popular big comedians, like I don't know. I remember Cat Williams was on there in like the top 10, and then when we passed,
Dane Cook,
Dane Cook was on there, and then some people were like, who the hell are these kids? Like, who the hell are these people? And then we were able to go into a meeting and say, well, we were ranked number 1 on MySpace, which meant something back then. So it got us in the door at places.
So you guys, were you handling yourself when you said, okay, now we've shown that we can do this online, we want to do it? Did you go run to networks, or what happened there?
No, this is how everything happened. There was NBC was going to do a sketch troupe competition show where sketch comedy troupes competed against each other. And the way they did this was they started it online at first, and they asked for submissions. So they would give a topic like workout video, infomercial, bad breakup, whatever. And then they let you submit videos, and then the internet would vote. And you could win $1,000 every week. They gave you 2 topics, and you could win $1,000 if just by regular person vote you were the best for that week. And that was their way of finding talent all across the country without having to go look for it. And so people were submitting in like a lot, and we won one. I saw it, and so we had made a video already, and I said, let's just put this in. It fits the criteria, and we won $1,000. We were like, oh my god! Because at the time we were all like, working as like, I was delivering pizza, and $1,000, and so then we started making them for the purpose of the competition, and over the course of like maybe I want to say like 3 or 4 months, we won 11 of those. So we won $11,000, and we also in the process made like 30 videos. So then we just dumped them all online, and I think since we put up so much content so early on, that's what kind of made them notice us. And then NBC cast us from that as one of the 5 sketch comedy troupes in the United States to be on this show. And it was like a studio, like a big budget studio show. Yeah. It was in a studio almost like remember Deal or No Deal, like the glossy kind of thing. Yeah, and Carson Daly was to host it.
Of course.
Then, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna do this pilot, and they were even advertising it like on television, like, and then they were like, but we don't need the comedy troops here. We're just going to like do these, like show clips, and then we'll show their sketches, and we'll have an audience vote. And they did that. They did it all. They filmed the pilot, and we won. And the winners won $100,000. And this is in 1997. And so it never aired. It didn't get picked up. It never aired. But they filmed the episode, and contractually they had to pay us.
Yeah.
So we won that, and then a couple of the producers of that show said, would you guys like to try and develop something with us? And we developed a show, and they brought us to their agents, and those agents became our agents, and then we sold the show right away. It was the first time we ever went out. We sold a single camera scripted show, like almost like an Always Sunny in Philadelphia type thing, like if I could compare it at all. Not that it's like that, but and we went to pitch it for the first time, and the first round of pitches, which is again is not normal, but Fox and Spike offered to give us pilots, and we had the decision to make. Obviously, Spike is like a real small, basic cable channel, Fox's network, and we just thought that maybe we'd have a better chance getting on the air if we went with Spike. So we went with Spike, and we made the pilot, and it was a learning experience. They turned it down, but that's how it, and then it like kind of continue from there. Yeah.
So you guys, it's amazing things because the fact is that not only are you guys hardworking, but you're on the brunt of this new technology and able to scramble, and that's always for the very youngest guys. You know what I mean? Like people who have already done a TV show, it wouldn't occur to them if they're out of work to go, hey, I can start putting this up on MySpace.
It was it was unbelievable that we were able to do it ourselves because we had no connections, we had no experience. The videos we made aren't even good, you know what I mean? I mean, back then for us at the time, for our skill level, maybe we were proud of them. Now I try to like hide them a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was what it was for the time for us.
Yeah.
And it was the only way that we figured out how to get a foot in the door somehow.
And so the deal was spiked when, as far as it was going to go.
Yeah.
But you're picking up some money here and there, and things are, And
no, we were picking up no money.
No money. They weren't giving you any money, even.
Oh, they gave us to make the pilot, but that doesn't. You don't make any money from that.
So you're still working day jobs. Everybody's still working day jobs.
Oh yeah, this is 97, like full time, like 100%.
Yeah.
Like I worked. Q is another Q from is on the show. Him and I worked full-time jobs until the end of season 2 of Impractical Jokers. So there you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When, everyone, it's so funny too because everyone thinks they see you on television that you are like a trillionaire or something, and it's like the furthest thing from the truth. Like there's no it was like having a regular job. You know what I mean? But they see you on TV and they're like, oh, and it's like I don't have any money at all. And I worked till the end, and there was a big leap to make. Talk about scary, and to give up my job and just try to do this full time, and we did it, and luckily it's been working out.
But yeah, it's definitely been working out for you. There's no doubt about that. But there's
I have a gold hot tub, so
but there's also, and I kind of think this is your background. You're practical about all this. Like I said,
was that like a pun?
No, like truly.
We're very pragmatic approach to everything for sure.
But because a lot of guys, as soon as they get anything, oh, now I need a gold rope chain. You know what I mean? And I
have friends that like that.
Yeah. But so walk us through how the True TV, because this is, even what you hit big with is far away from what you guys had established with yourself with the Tenderloins.
Yeah, you know what it was? We had so many failed things, and they were all scripted, and we were all playing characters. And so we were like, what is something that we could do that's not scripted? Because we know how to improvise, and we know how to be ourselves. That's what we could do really well. Yeah. So that was the way we backed into the idea of Impractical Jokers. And I think part of that is what made it relatable and successful, is that only we can do with what only we can do. So,
right.
That clicked with people. And then it is a little bit of a departure, but it isn't, because a lot of the show is born of really how we act and what we do.
You couldn't have done it without those failures. You couldn't do what you're doing today without the...
Absolutely not. Yeah, you had to arrive there from all the failures. Yeah.
It's really strange because... we're in Austin, Texas, and Tito's is all over, started right here in Austin. And it's always remarkable to me how much the stories are the same. The products are different, right? Yeah. But it's that thing, and he had to do the same thing that you did, that you hold on to the day job and then you make that leap. And it's not that different of a success story.
Yeah, I guess the formula, I guess, is right. If you read I'll read books on successful people and their patterns and habits.
Yeah.
And then it always, there's a through line through it all, I guess.
But that's what kept you going when you weren't successful, like reading these kind of things.
No. Yeah. What kept me going is I am in love with comedy.
Right.
That's it. It didn't matter. I was happy. I've never not been happy in any phase of my comedy career, because it's just, I love doing it. So it's like, I'll do it if the show ends tomorrow. If I was never successful, I would do it for free I will do it till the day I die.
Right.
Like Don Rickles, you know what I mean? Like, who's one of my idols. So.
And you know what? I'm always trying to tell that to people too, because they're like, if they get a gig at the Comedy Cellar and I'll say, what's up? And they go, well, last night I got bumped for Tracy Morgan. And I'm like, dude, you realize how hard it is to be one of the guys that Tracy Morgan bumped? And if someone told you that in 8th grade, you're like, holy shit, my life's going to be great.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not like, most of the people I've met, and I got into the public eye and I got to meet other people in the public eye. I got to meet some of my idols, some famous people, and you always wonder, like, how is this person, how are they? Like, are they different than me or different than normal people? And refreshingly, most of the people that I've met that are my comedic idols or are famous or whatever have been down to earth, real people. And there's assholes everywhere, but
let's name those guys.
But
Oh wait, we already brought up Big J. That's that's a known
he's the
fact.
best dude.
He's so cocky.
No, but I have I would never. I just don't have an ego. It's not in me.
Yeah.
Not that I have any reason to. But if I was even at any level, I just don't. Like if I get bumped, it happens it's part of comedy, you know.
Yeah.
I get bumped all the time.
Well,
I'm happy to be there to be bumped.
Well, you really do have, like, also because you're on the cutting edge of all this, you have the kind of new kind of fame where the people who like you love you and you're as big as the Beatles to them, but other people who haven't seen True TV might have zero idea. So I'm still with you on the streets of New York and see people walk by and then somebody just see you and melt down and freak out and grab their phone, and then the next people walk past you. It's very unique to this time.
It is really, yeah. And people say, like, a lot of it, probably the number one question we get in regards to Impractical Jokers is, how do you guys still do it? Because everybody knows you.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they don't. Like, you know, like, there's so many people.
Right, yeah.
There's hundreds of people. And, so we're lucky that the people who have bonded to the show have an affinity to us that is very unique. Mm-hmm. It's like super loyal, and people freak out at us. And then, you know, if you don't know us, you have no idea who we are.
Yeah.
Like, I never watched Game of Thrones. I hear it's the best show ever, but if the whole cast walked by, like, in uniform, I wouldn't. Well, maybe if they were in costume, I'd be like, maybe that's Game of Thrones, or there's a time traveler, but I don't know anyone in Game of Thrones, you know. Like,
in uniform is the best line. But, you know, like in the old days, like if you didn't watch Happy Days, you still knew who Fonzie was and Potsy. Like those
there
people.
wasn't the level of saturation with everything there is now.
Yeah.
Information and entertainment and at your fingertips. It's crazy.
Was it you guys or the network that came up with the idea of what the show Impractical Jokers?
It was us. We just we pitched it to them. We filmed it on our cell phones.
Yeah.
The four of us, and we brought it in to them.
And they
named it.
Did they?
Yeah, we had another name. When we pitched it to them, it was called Mission Uncomfortable. And
it's actually a really good name.
I thought we thought it embraced what the show was about. And they were like, well, we don't like that. And we went back and forth a bunch, and we had no leverage at this time. And so they finally said, pick from these. And one of the things they wanted to call us was Daredevils. And I used whatever little leverage I had to tell them that I would literally hang myself. I wouldn't do it. Like, I just kept thinking, like, Devil Dog. I don't know, like, Daredevils just sounds so corny. And then I remember they said, we're going to call you guys Impractical Jokers. And I literally get completely pale and nauseous.
Sure.
And I was like, that is the worst name I've ever heard. First of all, no one just says the word impractical. It's a clunky name.
Yeah.
Second of all, the Jokers is just like, to me, when I heard it, I was like, that's the hackiest bullshit I've ever heard. Like, we're like jokers, like we're the Joker card. What do you call those guys with the hat? The jesters.
Yeah, jesters.
Yeah, like they did this like early like art mock-ups, and we were like jester hats. And I'm like, I cannot do this. I respect comedy too much.
Yeah, it's already like a failed mission though, right? That you have to put on those hats.
Oh my God, it was just terrible. It was terrible. Yeah. And they finally said, nope, that's what we're calling it. And for like, and then I was like, I remember telling people I had a show and it being bittersweet because they'd be like telling like comedians that I'd be like, oh, we got our own show. It's called Impractical Jokers. And then I was like, oh my God, they're going to start calling us the Jokers. Which, by the way, our comedy troupe name for a decade before that was the Tenderloins. So it's not any better.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least I could be like embarrassed to that for myself. But like, and then for some reason, like, people didn't mock the name that much as I thought they would. And they took the show at face value. and then everyone just like calls it IJ or calls us the Jokers now, and it doesn't affect me anymore.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing that's good about it is it's eponymous. Like, is that the word? Did I use the right word? Like, we are the name of the show. Like, at least we're the idea. Like, if you wouldn't be like, there goes the Mission Uncomfortable. So I guess that's kind of good that we've become the identity of the name. I think it's eponymous.
But the thing is, I think you're right. But aren't most names terrible? Like if you look at the band U2, you're like, that's an awful name, but now we just accept it.
Right.
Seems normal.
Yeah.
But at the time, I would have said, change your name, boys.
Yeah, U2. Yeah, I wonder what that's about. My friend Casey has the joke.
Spy plane.
It was like, it's Bono, Edge, and then U2.
Yeah.
My friend Casey writes on the show. Casey Jost.
Yeah. Two guys just got their feelings hurt just now in Ireland.
We don't know their names. So, I mean, they're amazing. God bless them. But
Larry McMullen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, well, hey, listen, if you two are listening, it's all in good fun, really.
That is the other thing about you guys, is that there are some really big name people who are kind of freaks for your show too, that's very strange. But I mean, like, some of the biggest people, because this is like to me, it's a real street show. Like, I always think to myself, I get why everybody in Staten Island would love it, but it's hard for me to think of like Steve Carell just going, oh, this is the show for me.
Me too. And that's someone who is like a comedic genius.
Yeah.
And I think part of the show is let me think about this. It's just not. It's not trying to be something. It's not. It's face value. It is what it is. We fool around, and at the core of it, I just think is like funny's funny. Like, you don't have to be like the most brilliant person in the world to be funny. Everyone has their one friend they think is the funniest, and the reason they laugh is unique to that person or whatever.
Right.
We just we make each other laugh. We're being ourselves. So I guess that is what people connect with. You know what I mean?
But I grew up in the same kind of neighborhood outside of Philadelphia, in an industry town, and everybody would say, if any of you guys want to be successful, you have to change everything about yourselves. Mm-hmm. That's why it's always amazing to me that people relate to you instead of you going, how do I have to relate to people?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that the most important thing in comedy is having your own voice.
Yeah,
and that's in anything. Or writing for someone. If you're writing for someone, you have to write in their voice. And if you're a comedian, the thing that is the hardest thing to do is capture your own voice, because you'll hear overlap in material, but as long as someone's telling it through their point of view and their own life experience, then it's unique to them. And that's what you'll hear comedians say takes the longest to develop, is their own voice, and that's always evolving too. So I guess us just being ourselves and being friends for 28 years, we started off already not having to maybe figure that out so much.
Yet you also, and I think this turned out to be smart, and people would have said it was a bad idea, you've brought in a lot of neighborhood guys that work on your show. So whether it's writers, camera people, whatever, producers even now.
Yeah.
These are other people from your neighborhood that you grew up with.
These are the people from my neighborhood. One guy from the fish market is the cameraman now.
Bring him in, yeah. Everybody's mother is calling your mom.
No, yeah. There's a decent slice of the people on our crew and staff are our friends from back home. Some of them that already were working as camera guys, or they were funny and getting into comedy, and some of them that we just were like, I know you, and I know you could do this job.
Right.
And we work amongst those. And it's great because they know us, so they foster our sensibilities, and it makes for a very familiar workplace.
Sure.
And then that kind of just like over the years has just spread to everyone. So everyone on the crew now is like I always hear that too. I hear like you watch like award shows and people are like, or you watch like a movie, or you watch like the DVD extras, and they like rap and they're like, we're a family, but it gets true because you're with these people like every single day for years and years and years. And they're as much a reason why the show is successful as us. You know what I mean? Because they do everything to make the show run. They're the gears of the show. So it's been cool too, because a lot of the people that work on the show, when we first started out and we're doing everything ourselves, they would always like help us for nothing. We didn't have any money to give, and they would just dedicate their time and their efforts and their talents for nothing. And then it was really cool to be able to pay those people and give them work and give them a job now. So that was really, really cool.
And I imagine
it's probably our proudest thing. That's my proudest thing.
I imagine everybody from Staten Island, the lunches must be amazing.
Oh no, dude, our craft service and lunch is shit. It's
that
complete
right?
shit.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going to my friend's mom's house for lunch. You know what I mean? Like we still have a budget, and like someone has to order that. That's not us. And I've been on other TV shows to visit, and I'm always like, what the fuck? These people have amazing spreads. Like we have like, they go to Costco and we get like literally there's like trail mix and like Cheez-Its, and not that those things aren't good, but that's it for like 6 years. Like I can only eat so many Cheez-Its. I know it looks like I can eat way more, but I can only eat so many. Cheez-Its. Is that another sponsor?
Yes, Cheez-Its and Spirit Airlines have sponsored our show. So you've got to do these amazing road gigs now. What is like? I mean, first of all, just do it. You're from New York. You played Radio City, which is insane. But those aren't even the biggest gigs that you guys have done now.
At this point, no. We just did our first tour of the UK and surrounding areas, and we did over there. It started airing a few years ago, and since we're not there, I think it was much more of an event or a novelty that we were coming over there, and we didn't realize that how much traction it was gaining over there. And we were told that it was a number one show. It plays outside of the United States on Comedy Central, and so. They told us it's a number one show. It's been the number one show, and we put it on sale, and they went nuts. So we did an arena tour in the United Kingdom. So it was like between like 10 to 15,000 a night for like 2 weeks straight, and that just happened. It was in January. That was completely surreal. I still don't feel like we do that. Like I'm still like, wow, I wonder how people do that, because it's like an out of body experience. Sure. You like it still feels like I'm looking at it happening. But, like, it doesn't feel like I'm doing it.
No, because that's like the reverse Beatles, right? This is these guys. And if you look back at the Beatles, this is 4 guys from, the neighborhood. They played music, had no idea how it was going to go over in the States. I think it's even tougher to put comedy. There's great, giant comedians in England who never can make it here. Like, some guys do, some don't. But to take these guys from Staten Island and they're selling out these
I'll say it.
places,
I'm John Lennon. I mean,
you really are.
No, I'm kidding.
What?
I mean, I know I don't have to say this, but I need to stress I'm so kidding.
Yeah. Hey, why pick a guy who actually died at 40?
Yeah. That's why I said it. Me and him were in the same shape.
Well, it wasn't bad living that killed him. So no matter how many sit-ups you do, a bullet still is a tough thing to fight off. But and this is another reason why I love you, is you do get it all the time. Like, you understand that, yes, you've worked hard, but yet these other things that have happened, and you're very, very appreciative of them,
I mean, I don't know. There's no really other way to be. It's not like there's no... We're just really lucky.
You were in Hawaii for a month, and you were just telling me this, and that you took your mom with you.
Yes.
Which is, I mean...
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Was she always a believer that this is going to come back, or is she is...
No, my parents are really cool with it.
Yeah.
From when I was young, they were just like, do whatever you... Like, I have a finance degree, and I worked in mutual funds for Prudential Securities out of college for 5 years. I was doing comedy on the side, and I remember when I left that job to become a bartender so I could focus on comedy, they were just like, are you sure? You know what I mean? I was doing well for myself for that age, and everything in my job.
Were you working in Manhattan?
I was, yeah.
Yeah. It's always incredible to me. People from Staten Island catch a boat to go to work. It seems like you should have to be in the Navy if you have to catch a boat.
It is
first
a bit
thing in the morning.
antiquated, right? Yeah, like it was. I had like it was.
Yeah.
There was nautical stuff involved in getting to work.
Yeah. So your parents had to be so proud. Like, look at him. He's.
It took a long time.
Yeah.
Like, not for them to be proud, but like for me to have any success whatsoever after leaving that. And I remember my dad, when I left, they offered me more money, and then I talked to my dad. I was like, they offered me this, and he was like, oh, I don't know. I said, it's just not what I want to do long term, though.
Yeah.
So I had a backup plan, which was that I would also learn the bar business, so that if I did or didn't succeed either way, I could maybe own a bar. And I did do that for a little while as well.
But that got too much to do both?
Yeah, it wasn't the right move in the end. I had a bar. I bought a bar with a couple of buddies, and then like 2 weeks later, we found out we got the show. And so, when you first buy a business, you need to be there 7 days a week, all the time. And then also, when you probably first get a show, I would imagine you have to do the same. So I was like, uh-oh. And then I just worked about 100 hours a week for 2 years. And then I had like basically a nervous breakdown because I couldn't do it. Because at the bar, I'd film from like 9 to like 5. And then I would be at the bar from 7 to like 4. Mm-hmm. And I did that like 3 or 4 nights a week for about 2 years. And I was driven, because I wanted the bar to succeed, and I wanted the show to succeed. But it caught up. It caught up with me. Yeah.
Well, you can't go from playing 20,000 people to, hey, do we have enough olives? You know what I mean? Because it is stressful when you run out of olives.
That's what I would do all day long. Yeah. We'd be filming the show. The first 2 seasons, we fight about things, and like one of the things that they would get on my case about is like on camera. I can't be on my cell phone, but like I would have to run the business through my phone during the day with like inventory and orders and scheduling and who's calling sick, and every little thing was on the phone. So that was me like running the business through the I was happy to leave that. It was the hardest thing I ever did, try to run a bar.
Sure.
It was harder than the show, I think.
Yes,
it was. It's just too much. At least everything falls solely on my shoulders with comedy. Mm-hmm. But with the bar, it's really hard to be a small business owner, and especially in New York, and you have to deal with insurance and the health department and just so many different factors. And it's just like you really what you're doing is you're becoming an on-call problem solver, 24/7. It just gets to be too much. It's not rewarding.
Even when I heard you had the bar, I always thought it was a front for the mob. So this is it's great to know that you're really working at it. But with you, one of the only even though you guys, your shows aren't the same, I always think of Jackass, and those guys had the same kind of run. Yeah, but they went on to do the movies, and that worked out. What about for you guys? Is this a possibility? Is it a?
Yeah, we're trying to make one right now.
Yeah.
It's been tough.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, thank you. Hopefully it happens. We've been trying for a year or two now. It's really tough to get it's a lot of moving parts, but we're trying to.
Isn't that amazing though? When everything about this show has been so successful, and it's still tough to get the next green light, right?
It's tough. It's also just tough to because the show has to be first. Because that's what drives everything. It drives the tour. So we have to still make the show. We don't want to sacrifice quality on the show. And then you have to spread. It's great that we're 4 of us because we do delegate responsibilities for things, but it's tough. It is. But that Jackass is like a cultural phenomenon because they had like 2 seasons of I think like 6 episodes each, and there was viral before viral was viral, and then they did the movie at that time. They were like a rocket, and so when the movie came out, I feel like there was like there was really people needed to be satiated with for us we're like over 6 seasons in now, 150 episodes. So like some of our concerns are, how do we differentiate a movie from the show so people don't feel like they're just going to see a long episode of the show, but we don't want to depart too much from what people like about the show. So it's like a tricky thing because, we put yourself out there. It's a great opportunity, but there's risk and reward, so we don't want to make a movie and then we want to we want to give our loyal fans what they want, but we also want to give them something else. So, it's fun. It's a challenge. It's been a challenge trying to make it. I have no idea if it'll come to fruition, but it seems like it's going well.
How much of a challenge is it, too, since you guys have been doing this since you were kids, to say the important thing is to keep the band together? Do you ever worry about making sure all 4 guys want to do this gig?
Yeah. We do. We all have different goals and different motivations completely. So we're respectful of each other, and what we want. I think considering, how long we've known each other and how much we're together and how many different ventures we've had to do, like every single day, like a normal day for us, we'll have to democratically make 100 decisions a day, and we're on the same page for most of them, but that is tricky waters to navigate. So I think anyone who would be in that situation would have their fair share of problems. I think in light of that, we've done well with it.
Just keeping it together.
And
which is true of any rock and roll band. If you look and at every rock and roll band that ever happened, you're like, the main guys that kept it going are, you look at the Stones, they had a million reasons to break up. The Who had a million reasons to break up, but keeping it together because you guys are better together.
Well, if we're like them and making the show when we're 70, please shoot me in the fucking face. Although
you know what? I'm going to shake your...
Stones is my favorite band. I saw them last year. But I'm just saying, I also, we're young at heart. Yeah. I hope that's still coming across. But we joke around, she's in, 15. We can't be, 60-year-old men, pinching each other's nipples and stuff like that.
Sal.
Or what have you. Some other genius idea.
I actually am going to guarantee you that if you're still doing this at that age, I will shoot you in the fucking face. And I want to shake on it. Sal Vulcano, everybody. You deserve everything, pal. I'm so proud of you. Seriously.
Thank you so much for coming. Ron, thank you so much for having me. This was an honor.
You're great.
It's an honor, really.
You're great.
Thank you, guys.